Yo, no maniacs, super no maniacs, and all in between. Welcome to another edition of Nomad at Night with my guy from Canada over there. And hopefully we'll get my guy KB to come through here. Talk to him early. He said he was taking his lady and the babies out to a movie. I think he's going to see Karate Kid or something. I was just like, okay. I was asking him, I was texting him. I was like, man, what you going to see? Sinners? Because I don't even know if the thing's still at the movie theaters or not, but I know everybody in the world keeps talking about this everywhere on social media. I'm like the last person, I guess, on this side of the Mississippi River that has not seen Sinners. And
no, I ain't seen it yet.
You haven't seen it?
No.
Hey, they say it's a must-see, kids. I'm just telling you right now, man. Everybody that I talk to, not a one person. You know how you could be talking about a movie with different people, and you might get 6-7 different variations of what they thought that movie is: up, down, high, low. But this one is completely and totally across the board hot, from what I understand. And he's just like, dog, you got to go see it. Because my girl ain't one of the movie theater type of women. Man, she likes our little setup at home, and she likes to do it from the crib. I looked at Amazon Plus, dude, and I mean Amazon Prime, and it's like $25 to order. I'm just like, man, we might as well go to the movies, but she just ain't gonna have it, man. So can't wait to see that. Hopefully KB will fall through here when he get done watching the movie with his shorties and his wife, man. But before we get to all of that, man, before we get to all that, got through talking about all that, let me set up what we got going on tonight, you guys. And that is June 1st cuts. June 1st is here. June 1st is now. I don't know if any business is being conducted on a Sunday evening or a Sunday afternoon, because I haven't seen nothing. Not a one thing, but I do expect some stuff to trickle out in the next several days, and we'll be here to cover it as much as we can. We're going to talk about a lot of that tonight. I got a bucket full of guys that I want to point attention to that I think can come in here and help us out right away. I got some of those guys profiled, and plus we're going to talk about some of these camp storylines and how we think this thing might shake out, because before you know it, man, it's going to be, they'll do this thing this week, kids. They'll have that 3-day OTA period. Next thing you know, they'll be gone for about 3 weeks. About 3 weeks, they'll be gone. And the next thing you know, you got you got training camp. And so this is going to be, it's a tough time to do podcasts and content creation and all that. But we the Nomad Network, man, we always find a way to have conversations. This is what we do, dog. So let me throw this alley-oop over there to Canada to my guy Kids, man, for some pleasantry before we get going.
Yo, Sunday night, Nomad at Night. What it do out there, folks? Hopefully y'all had yourself a good week. Took a good look at what's going on in Bears land. There's been some standard developments, but nothing too wild and crazy. Definitely worth a couple of conversations, which we will have this week and tonight, and moving forward into next week. Good to have all of you with us here today. I'll give a little bit of love to those who love us as folks trickle in. Big shout outs to my guy, the immortal Naj, is out there with us, normally with the wrench. What's up, Naj? Shout out to him. He's keeping the hockey situation real. We got a little Canadian representation in the Stanley Cup, I understand. So that should be coming off there real soon, too. Okay, Jay Capone, he's getting it done. Jay Capone's he's puffing large tonight.
Hey, fire up that funk.
Huh?
Fire up that funk, Jay.
Yeah, man. Do your thing, Jay. Shout out to Jay Grizz. Speaking about Jay's out there, Jay Grizz is out there doing his thing. Good to see you, my brother. Good to see Paul Rodriguez out there and the relentless Mikey jumping in. Thank you, sir. Mr. Mayhem is with us as per usual. Good to have all you guys coming through writing early for the show as we round things out and get down to the nitty gritty. Had a pretty standard weekend as far as yours truly is concerned. Did a couple of things, but the main thing that I did was start my personal workout regimen, which hopefully I can continue to follow and put in some good gains moving forward. So if I start screaming or wincing at any point today, just sort of like, you know what I mean? It's just cramps.
Hey, man.
Letting y'all know.
At a certain point in your life, I'm no longer a football player, and you got to do body maintenance. You know what I mean? If you want to maintain what you got going on, you don't want to just get to that point in your life where you just start letting everything go down, and then you're gonna have a hell of a time trying to catch back up. And so you're in a hell of a time trying to catch back up mode. I'll just tell you this, kids, and this is just with all sincere love. You know I love you, man. You got to embrace the pain, man. You got to embrace the aches, the pains. You got to embrace it, because you know what that means? It's just gains, bro. It's just gains.
You know what?
You're breaking everything down, and it's gonna hurt you a little bit.
You know what? So, I watched my guy Trip do his thing, and I had to get down and do some of that a couple weeks back, maybe even a month back. And good Lord, coming out of that situation, I was in a lot of pain for the next 3 days. I will tell you the good honest truth. I was hurting hard, and I was like, man, I don't really want to do this type of stuff at all. I don't want to do it. And yesterday, I worked out for like an hour. It was pretty crazy. It was me and my cousin, and he's got a decent little setup at his place. So I rolled over there, and we just watched some workout videos and just got to it and did it. And it was good. A, I had a partner. B, that partner also had like all kinds of vitamins. Mm-hmm. So, you know what I mean? The vitamins really helped. I feel effing great today. I'm a knock on wood, and hopefully I don't feel mad pain tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll just hopefully I don't feel the pain tomorrow. As long as I feel good tomorrow, man, I'm back at it. But days 1 and 2, I feel fantastic. So here's to keeping up.
Hey, dog, all you gotta do is hit me up, man. I'll help you out, because there's ways to get through that so it ain't so annoying. You know what I mean? Aches and pains, they come with it. It's because like I'm a regular workout guy, but I'm mostly on the bike. I might bust some calisthenics from now and then, push-ups and all that kind of stuff. But I ain't in the gym lifting a whole bunch of weights. I'm tired of that, man. You know what I mean? It's just I want to make sure my cardiovascular is right, making sure I sweat the toxins out of my body. That's the main thing. You get you a few calisthenics, if you feel like lifting some weights, go ahead. But let me tell you something I did recently, man. So my mother, last minute, something happened with her. I don't know if you know what I mean by it. You know what fascia board is on a house?
No.
So basically, if you got the front of your house, all the trim out in front of your house that holds up the gutters and all that kind of stuff, that's that's the best way I can explain to you. Somebody in the chat guaranteed knows exactly what I mean by fascia in front of your house or around your house. It's just the little trim that holds up the exterior things, like your gutters and all that kind of stuff. Whatever you got, lights, everything, that stuff is put on your fascia. And so my mother last minute decided that, hey, you know what? She had somebody come over there and tear down the old fascia. And so I had to go over there last minute to help put up new fascia. So and all we did was the front side of the house. And she's got a very, very long front side of the house and a big, huge deck on front of it. Huge. And so because the deck is there and the fascia is like right there, almost in like arm's distance, you can kind of, you can make the board, cut it out, measure it, and you can put it up and start, tacking everything back together. But it's arm's length. And you talking about, I had my arms over my head pretty much the entire day for like 8 hours, holding up board or screwing in screws and all that kind of stuff. Dude, my shoulders, my arms, my back was hurting so bad the rest of that night. The next day, I was just like, holy crap, man. Am I starting to get old? I'm like, what the fuck? This shit was hurting, man. I was just like, dude, back and body for goodies, back and body will help through all that, man. You got to order you something, kid. That's all I was trying to get to.
Well, I hear you, but there's other pains and aches. So these ones, at least I know where they came from.
Dre Greers knows what it is. He said, yep, I used to install windows and sliding glass doors, so he knows.
Okay. Yeah, man, I'm just saying I got aches and pains from other things that I'm not even sure where they came from. So at least I know where these aches and pains came from. These are the it's like how I drink. I like to drink whiskey and rum because I know how drunk I am. You know what I mean? I know exactly how drunk I am when I drink hard liquor. Wine creeps up on me, beer creeps up on me. It's just like I don't find yourself face down somewhere. I don't like that. Anyways, was all right, man. It was all right getting at it this weekend. It's pretty good. I feel great, and I'll try and keep doing this thing, man. Keep this thing up. If I can keep it up, I'll be in good standing moving forward. Big shout outs to my guy Ant Mas who jumped in. We are multi-streaming like we always do on Wednesday nights, on Sunday nights. By all means, give this guy a little bit of love over at kidsofcanuck.com, but it ain't .com. It's right here on YouTube.com. So go check a boy out. Give him a little thumbs up. Come fly back over here, be a part of the conversation as per normal. That's what Ant Mas is doing. That's what Jay Grizz is doing.
What's the name of the channel again?
Kids of Canuck. Oh, look at little baby kids. Look at that.
I love that picture. I love that picture, man. I know one of my nephews looked exactly like that when he was a baby, man. Little chunky motherfucker, man.
Bro, it's hilarious to me because I was not a chunky baby. I'm a chunky man. But
you wasn't chunky when I could imagine you being a chunky kid, man.
I was a skinny bone rack up until I was about 8 years old. Went to Jamaica for the first time. For the second time, a second trip to Jamaica, and they wouldn't stop feeding me. I ate everything on the island. I had to taste all the different flavors of the Caribbean and came back with a little bit of size on me. So that was really how it went down for me. But I was a bone rack for a good long time, especially as a baby. Cute as all sin though, long eyelashes. You should see me out different. But anyways.
I don't want to know all that, man. But Ant Mas says 7 likes in 19. We got 30, 35, 36 people, 38 now. It's moving pretty quickly now. But hey, you guys don't make me come through the screen and wrestle your ass. Now, come on, hit the like button now. You don't do nothing else. Come on. That's how we ingratiate each other, man. That's how we do, man. Hit the like button, y'all. Thank you for that, Ant Mas. Hey, Jay Smiley, you getting some encouragement. He says, keep doing your thing, kids, man. That's
man.
The key to it. That's the key to it, kids, is just never relenting. Once you get that in your system and you're consistent about it for 3 weeks, the pains will start going away. They'll gradually start going away, and you'll start regulating. Your body will start regulating. You'll start, it's catching up with what you're doing. You haven't been using muscles for a long time. Obviously, they're gonna ache a little bit. So
yeah, so
it's not a big deal.
Right. I'm all right with it. Like I say, last time it kind of kicked my ass for a couple of days. This time around, it isn't. So I'll keep it going. The other thing about it is it was a cardio workout, which is not what I'm used to doing. Like I'm used to working out to build muscle, and this was like lightweight all day long for endurance. Oh man, that gets you. But I can feel it. I feel good. I feel good today, man. You know what I mean? As the old folks say, one day at a time. You said it, CJ. You said it, dog. I'm an old folk now, so I said it too. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying it. So I got to keep it going, keep it building. And,
so one thing I would want to ask you though is like over the COVID period, I gained quite a bit of weight, and like to you, 200 pounds. You're like, what do you mean you gain weight? Like I'm 175. That's my like normal weight. 185. I can get to 190, 195, and I'm still looking okay and feeling good. I get over 200 pounds. I'm overweight in my opinion. I feel it. I look in the mirror, and I see it, and it got like that at the beginning of COVID. And first thing I had to tell myself, all right, let's get the weight off first. So I had to decide, how I want to do that. Sauna suit. First thing I did was bought a sauna suit. I even bought a scuba suit to put under. A scuba suit. Imagine that. So I got a scuba
suit. Sweat it out, huh?
Just sweat it out. Just sweat it out. And once you're lighter, you're able to do whatever it is that you're trying to do, and it ain't gonna hurt so much. But as long as you're carrying extra weight, it's gonna hurt a little bit more than probably would other people.
Man, it's funny you say that because that's like we're going sideways with this conversation, but my inspiration for that is my mom's, man. Back in the day, my mom's used to just cut up two garbage bags and just get in it. You know what I mean? She cut armholes out of that thing, a neck hole, and she's in the garbage bag, and she used to just jam to all kinds of ridiculous 80s tracks and drop poundage. Like she dropped a good 70 pounds just dancing around in her basement doing like 5-pound weights. You know what I mean? Like that was really all she was doing down there. Tiny little weight, running around dancing to like 80s funk music and shit. Little bit of reggae in there too, but that was really what she was doing. Dropped a bunch of weight just sweating it off. So you're right.
Anybody can do that. It's about as old as time itself.
Yeah.
You know, and people start thinking about, okay, working out, I need to go to the gym, I need to start grabbing some weights. That's cool. But you have to understand the cardiovascular part is the most important thing. And what your mom was doing was not only she probably trying to get a couple of pounds off, but while she was doing that, I don't know that she knew that she was sweating out toxins that are, those are the people killers, the shit that we eat and drink, that we just walk around with it and it accumulates in your body. And over time, next thing you know, boom, there go that heart, there go that stroke. All them toxins will get you over time. She just was sweating out toxins and losing weight at the same time, which is a byproduct of it. So that is old as day. I still go in there and grab a bag and tear up a bag and do that. Like my sauna suit right now is musty. It needs to be washed. So if I don't wash it in between now and tomorrow's workout, it becomes a garbage bag.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, it's great. It's a lifestyle change, man. So you just got to choose it.
Right on. I'm with it. Like I said, I feel good and energized and got a little extra zip.
There you go, Paul.
We're gonna keep it going. Paul's rocking the same sauna suit too.
There you go, man. That sauna suit will save your damn life. That sauna suit and some mid to, I'm not gonna say light workout. I'm gonna say mid workout. You don't got to go hard. I go hard because I can now. I put in the work to do it, but you want to take your time. You don't want to exert yourself, and all that heat and sweat. Now, if you're not careful, that will give you a stroke, a heat stroke. You put all that stuff on, you just got to monitor yourself. Believe what your body tells you. Get off when it's time. If you can only do 10, 15 minutes the first time, do it and get the fuck up out of there. If you can push it to 20, 25 the next time, good. You're making gains, but gradually get there. Don't try to get it all in one chunk, kids, man, please.
Right on. Yeah, like I say, I'm doing super lightweight and doing cardio, so it's a little bit of it's grueling over time, you know what I mean, over the course of an hour. I will probably do half-hour intervals this week until the weekend shows up. But yeah, man, it's all right. I'm with it. I'm doing it, and I'm not mad about it. So these are all good things.
Kids, watch what happens when you go in the mirror and you see. First thing you're gonna notice is your face slim a little bit. Your face will start slimming. Your shoulders will start getting shrinking a little bit, and you'll be, I'm losing too much weight. But if you do what I suggest, also buy yourself a waist trainer. A waist trainer is basically a Velcro strap that you put around your waist, and you just burn extra fat while you're working out. You put that strap on you. I put the bag on like your mom does. I put the bag on and then put the waist trainer on top of it so I can maximize that sweat. Yeah, you maximize that sweat. You're going to get hotter faster. The more you sweat, the better. And, it's a workout. A good workout can't never whoop a bad diet. Just got to know that. You just got to change some lifestyle choices on how you're eating, when you're eating stuff.
I've changed all kinds of things, man. So it's an entire lifestyle mix. Like Amos is doing the carnivore thing. My diet is very similar. It's more of a keto situation, and keto is very close to carnivore. Like in essence, they're very similar. High fats in keto, high protein in keto, low carbohydrates in keto. Very similar to carnivore. Carnivore is basically cut out all the carbs, go hard on the meats, eggs, and cheese. Cheese is your fat content. It's very similar. You'll drop weight real quick, man. You'll drop weight real quick.
Yeah. You get that. You stay on that diet. You grab that sauna suit. You grab that bag like I was telling your mom did. Grab that waist trainer. You can get a good waist trainer for about $15 on Amazon, somewhere or wherever. You can get that at Walmart, anywhere. You get one of those in that sauna suit, and I guarantee you, in 3 weeks or less, your pants will be falling off you for sure. Your face will be slimmer. You'll be feeling a whole lot better. Your eyes will be a whole lot brighter. Everything about you is going to change. But you got to stay consistent, man. that your diet afterwards, that's how you finish the whole thing, is just managing what you eat. Still there?
Yeah, I'm checking out Jay Grizz's
Put it up there.
Jay Grizz's comment here. So this is his workout. So he does back and biceps on Mondays, triceps and thighs on Wednesdays, neck and shoulders on Friday, abs and cardio on Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's a pretty ill little split up. I hate the tries, man. I hate the tries.
You don't like triceps?
I don't like the just the range of motion that's required to work them out.
It feels good. I love that burn.
It's like a weird
like
range, you know what I mean? A weird range of motion.
No. What you want to do is get the pull down bar in front of you.
Yeah, that's what I did. That's exactly what I did this week. I did the pull down bar back here, and then you know what I mean.
Yeah,
but that's I don't know. It's just my least favorite exercise of this tries. I'm more of a shoulders and traps guy. But I did a lot of squats this weekend, man. I did a lot of I don't drink pop. I don't drink, like, I'll drink hard liquor and water and coffee. Like basically all I drink. So that's I'm right there with the water, Andre. Trust me. That's my jam.
I drink a
gallon of water per day. Even the doctor will tell you don't do that. Like, I went to the doctor the other day and he was like, "Why you drink so much water for?" I said, "Wow, like I don't drink anything else."
If you sweat as much as me, like today, I'm out in the garden finishing the garden up. I'm just that time of year for me. I'm busy with that.
Man, I'm really slipping on this Black Jesus drop for you, man. Like one of these days, man, gotta get a Black Jesus drop for Nomad. Trust me.
Hey, man, look,
it's coming. Any of y'all know about Black Jesus? Every time he talks about gardening, I picture Black Jesus in the garden.
Hey, man, look, people in this neighborhood, even though it's most of the people around me are used to Black people out in the garden, tilling the garden and doing all that kind of stuff, prettying up their yard, and they, they used to it. And everybody be like, "Hey, shout out, man," and hey, keep it up, man. Can I come over there and get some? Most people are already used to it. I've been doing it for several years now. But there's always new people coming in your neighborhood all the time. And the new people coming through there, like looking, they just stop and look and look at you weird. Like, what the fuck is this? A Black man in the garden in this neighborhood making a garden? And I could tell just by them coming past the fence and just standing there for a second and looking, it's triggering thoughts. Like, really? We can do that? Yeah, you can do that. So it's inspiring. I can look at the inspiration on their faces. Like a couple of people have come by here and said, I ain't got no garden. They living over here in the projects or wherever, but I got a little space outside of my apartment. I could put something in the ground. Say, you want some seeds? She said, yeah, I'll come back and get them. Give us some cucumber and tomato seeds. Let it get started. You know what I mean? That's the idea, is to trigger those thoughts in the urban community. And you can get some great vegetables for yourself and keep yourself healthy. And what you got extra, you can go give out to, a community that gives giveaways and tries to help the homeless. You can lots of ways.
Just trying to eat free salad. That's all this is.
Yeah.
He's trying to eat free salad. I'm teasing you, man. It is beautiful. I do a little bit of planting myself. I've kind of gotten into it. I don't do a full-on garden thing, but it may well progress down that road. So I'm heavily considering getting out there and I'm doing a little something, mainly because my backyard is tore up and I gotta go out there and fix it up anyway. So if I'm gonna go out there and fix it and do the work, might as well do the garden while I'm at it. So
You know where I'm at. But look, check out what Andre Bryan is saying. Andre, I'm going to speak to your Jesus inside of you. He said, yeah, electrolytes replace the sodium you lose when you pee from drinking water.
Yeah.
Like when I didn't understand that, I'd be working my ass off, drinking nothing but water.
Yeah.
And like for whatever reason, I couldn't understand. I'm like, sometimes I like late at night, my pee would come out stinking like something. Like, is something wrong with me? No, you got to like supplement that. I'm telling Andre and you, supplement that with a little Gatorade, Powerade, or whatever electrolytes you use. Like when I know I'm gonna sweat a lot, I usually drink a little bit of pickle water. Just
Is there
replace the salt.
electrolytes in the dill or something?
It's gonna replace the salt you're about to sweat out.
Oh.
Just when you're sweating out toxins, it takes salt out of your body. And that ends up, if you don't know how to hydrate properly, that ends up in dehydration, cramps, and muscle aches, and all that kind of shit late at night. And so I learned pickle juice, Gatorade, and all that kind of stuff will help
Definitely
you out.
Gatorade. There's Pedialyte too, but it's kind of thick and nasty. You don't know. You'd rather get Gatorade than that or Powerade. But yeah, I'm fully with you. You know, on the keto diet. It's important, just like y'all saying, to introduce some level of sodium into your diet because you're kind of stripping it all out. So be aware if you're on that carnivore as well. Yeah, make sure you get a little bit of sodium and fats. It's important.
All right. That's enough for that, man. Unless you got anything else to talk about, man. It's beautiful here, man. I don't know what it is in Canada, kid.
Oh, I was not a kid. It's nice out there today.
Oh man, dude! If you hear some noise outside of my man cave, that's because people out here rich rolling. Everybody's riding, and everything's pretty right now. The women pretty, they out, and man, dude, it's beautiful here right now. Really, really beautiful.
No, we didn't get that. We didn't have that kind of weekend over here. It was kind of glum and nasty. Y'all usually have about the same weather as I do here. It's strangely in sync, but I guess not this weekend. This weekend, we still waiting for summer to show up. Summer showed up a couple weeks ago, then went back to sleep. So it'll be back sooner or later, and we can enjoy it. But wasn't this weekend.
All right, let's get to some football like everybody came here to do. Thank you all for being patient with us. Y'all know how we are here, man. We'd like to be human at the very beginning of a show before we start talking about football. And it's all relevant to everybody and everybody's life. Somebody for sure, and people in this chat was definitely feeling what we were talking about. But listen, let's get to some football. And the June 1st deadline has arrived. June 1st deadline is, I think, and kids, you might have to fire up the
that's June 1.
Yeah, you might have to fire up your price machine, your numbers machine, but not yet, man. I'm just talking about
money machine
and that cut deadline. And so the truth is, there are going to be opportunities. There's going to be some big names that are going to get cut at some point during this next couple of weeks or so. They can designate a player or two. I think you can designate 2 players to be at this June 1st cut deadline, and you have to make the designation ahead of time per CBA rules. And so one of the guys on our roster, let's just talk about that right away. Cole Kmet comes up often. If you look at other other podcasters on other networks, he's on the list for a lot of people. Cole Kmet is looking at being looked at as a potential June 1st cut candidate for a lot of teams, kid, just so you know.
So I'm a little confused. So it's June 1 now, right?
Yes. No business was going to happen today, though.
I know I had to pay my damn rent. It's Sunday. You know what I mean? I had to pay my rent. It's June 1. It's Sunday. So did no cuts happen? I guess they just kind of push it to Monday?
No, I didn't see anything. I looked probably 30 minutes before the show. I saw nothing. I think they've probably turned in some information to the NFL offices, and like maybe I don't know how. I really don't know how that works. This would be a good time to ask Greg Gabriel to come on, but we didn't do all that. So he's the only one that I know right off top would know exactly what that is. I don't know how he knows that because he's a scout, but I'm sure he has to keep it.
Like even Greg Gabriel will probably be guessing on what happens with June 1 cuts when it falls on a Sunday. You know what I mean? Like that. It's you know what I mean? It sounds like they would push everything to Monday. There's probably going to be a ton of movement tomorrow. Just a quick guess. Probably a ton of movement in the NFL tomorrow. I'm just looking around here, scrolling through Twitter. I don't really see
No, there's nothing happening.
I don't see anything really has anything going down.
The business hours will start tomorrow. The whatever the information is that had to be turned in, they had to. That deadline is there for a reason, and there has to be information turned into NFL offices. I think obviously you gotta turn in something. If you have guys that are designated, you need to make that known to the NFL. And then tomorrow, I think people will get that information and people will start making choices. But let's just talk about Cole Kmet first.
Sure.
I don't know that people see a world that Cole Kmet gets cut under these circumstances, and I for the most part agree. I think Cole Kmet is here, but there's an outside chance that they may do something else, and we need to probably start thinking about and talking about some different options in case that happens. I got a guy to talk about here, but let's just talk about Cole Kmet and the possibilities right now.
All right. So I did hear somebody this week say specifically that Cole Kmet could potentially be a cut candidate this week. And the number that they gave around Cole Kmet was $12 million in savings, which is astronomically crazy talk. I was putting it out there for y'all. It's not $12 million in savings, especially not from a cut case scenario. I think it's closer. I think it's between $4 and $6 million for Cole if they do cut him. Facts are, like, they can get something for Cole Kmet, right? They can get, you know what I mean? They could get something for Cole Kmet. I don't think he's a straight up cut candidate, mainly because of that alone. I think they can get something for him. I think they can maybe get a third or a fourth round pick for him. He was a second, I believe. Perhaps perhaps they can't get a second round pick in exchange for Cole Kmet, but it's not completely unheard of. Other things to say, I think he's much more of a trade candidate than anything else, if that's what might happen. Like BT and I is kind of seeing it the way that I'm seeing it here. I think it's a trade situation. I was just taking a quick peek here at Adam Schefter. He does bring up Akin Booker. He does bring up Trey Hendrickson out there, and I think that's the type of move where we would see Cole Kmet moved. Like if they went after somebody else and packaged Cole Kmet, I think that's how you do something like this. I think that's a viable move. Can't just outright cut a guy you just paid. It's just crazy. Like you can. Don't get me wrong. You can. You know what I mean? You can. But my point is, and it's
absurd.
It's absurd. It's absurd. It's my point for the better part of this season is that we never, as an organization, the Chicago Bears, very seldom develop talent and then trade them off for capital. They cut them. And when they cut them, they lose any sort of value that they've built up into that player. And that's useless, right? Like, what was the point in building and developing this particular player? What was the point in developing Cole Kmet up to where he is today? If, again, you can get something back on your return on investment, ROI, it's business. Get your ROI. If you want to cut bait, you can, again, by all means. I just don't see it being the smart man's money here.
Shout out to Juju. He said, goat shit. Had to tap into the best Bears coverage out there. Bear down.
That's Juju.
Bear down to you, Juju, my dog, man. Appreciate it. Now, last thing about Cole Kmet is, listen, man, I do believe this. I think I see a world where this Cole Kmet, Colson Loveland works well together. I think they need two good tight ends to coexist here in Chicago. Matter of fact, I know they do. They need two really good tight ends to coexist here in this offense. I was studying some Detroit film. He's not, trust me, man. Ben Johnson's not going to get too far away from what they were doing in Detroit. He's probably going to tweak some things and switch up some formation types so it's not exactly the same, but it's not going to get so far away from what they were doing in Detroit so where you won't recognize it. No, I don't think so whatsoever. I think they will tweak some things. Now, this I know is going to be a staple of their offense. I don't think you can change that because it was so wildly successful in Detroit. That two tight end set, and they like to align both tight ends on one side. So you have a bigger heavier set on one side of the ball, and they like to run at it. And okay, so let me just say this: in the event that Cole Kmet, and this is when you might want to pull up your let me turn on my mouse, kids. I'm sorry, I didn't have my mouse on. But here's an option: a guy that might be one of those June 1st guys. I think you might like this.
Uh-oh.
Tyler Higbee, LA Rams, very, very productive guy. Does nothing but produce under that offense with the Rams. He is an option if they decided that they was going to do something and go another way with Cole Kmet. I'm sure he won't cost as much, but he's an option. He's out there as a June 1st cut candidate.
So your thoughts is that if we potentially move on from Cole Kmet, they reach out and get a tight end replacement in Higbee.
I'm just throwing the options out there.
I know you are. I'm just framing what you're throwing, right? It's not a crazy option. Higbee's a really good tight end. Like he is. He might be slightly long in the tooth, but I don't know if he's that long in the tooth that it's a question. They probably wouldn't be spending all that, they wouldn't be spending crazy money on a Tyler Higbee, to be frank with you. So I think it's again much more rooted on if they're moving away from a certain tight end here in Chicago. I think it's definitely worth kicking the tires. You'd probably get Higbee at a decent dollar, and could probably do some other things with the remaining difference that you would have saved potentially off of Cole Kmet. I'm with this.
Me and you, kid, you and I have two different minds, and Tripp is the same way as you in this regard. When I see stuff like this, my mind immediately goes to football and fit. You guys' minds go right to the dollar amount, and that's cool. You need that kind of balance on the show. And first thing I think is what they want to do with Caleb Williams. If you haven't heard that recently, what's his name? Ben Johnson came out and said that they were studying a whole lot of Matthew Stafford. And why I think this makes sense. Matthew Stafford, when people break down who are the best quarterbacks in the NFL, he's very rarely mentioned. And I don't know that people who really understand football.
Take it easy. You're going to give Don Burr a boner.
I mean, Matt Stafford is a dog. He gets better every time I see him. Every year he adds something to his game. His game gets faster. He processing faster. He literally almost put that team on his back and took them to almost got him to the Super Bowl.
He's always a threat. You know what I mean? Always has been, always will be a threat. It's unfortunate for the Lions, in that respect that they lost him, or they couldn't really maximize his tenure there. But I don't think it worked out terribly for them even then. I think they did wind up getting a semi decent quarterback in exchange for all that, plus a fair amount of draft picks. So it is what it is.
Point being that West Coast style of offense that the Rams run, so you have. So what they do is a lot similar to what Ben Johnson does in Detroit. Condensed formations. What I mean by condensed, you got the tight ends really tight to the line of scrimmage. You have the receivers in bunch formations and twins formations, split formations, but it's all really close to the line of scrimmage because the idea is to bunch it all together and make people defend in a small space, and then you have more field to work with. So if you got a tight end, two tight ends working right inside off the edge rusher, and you're trying to get them open in the space. And so if you scheme this up right, this is going to open up for them. You're going to have more field to work with because the whole defense is coming closer to the line of scrimmage because your formations and your situations are so bunched together. So it's going to be a lot more people at the line of scrimmage. If people can shake loose off one-on-one coverage and know how to beat zone coverages, this offense of scheme tends to work better for you because you're going to get some open space for receivers out there out of those bunch formations and those tight condensed formations. I'm telling you, it's beautiful to watch if you look at enough of it. But back to Tyler Higbee and what I think he can do in the event that we don't have Cole Kmet, I think this would be a great replacement because you really wouldn't have to teach him anything. He's a fit and play. Plug him right in. He learns the calls, and that's pretty much all he'd have to do. But it won't be a whole lot different than what he's been doing all this time in LA.
And that's sort of where my headspace was. Now, just to bring it back to Cole Kmet a little bit. Do you believe Cole Kmet is a fit today for what Ben Johnson would be trying to do?
Yes, I do think he can do this. I
Okay.
do think he can do it.
I'm with you, and I'm asking that specific question for that specific reason. So, like, I kind of expect Cole Kmet to stick around, Ollie. You know what I mean? I'm kind of with you here. I think it is a prove it year for him. I think it's get it done or we push forward. I think you're bang on with that.
Yeah, no question about it, Oliver. It's we're just talking about in the event that in a crazy thing happens that Cole Kmet, we're just talking about the options out there. When I looked at the possibilities of the guys that might be available after June 1st, this is just one of the guys that stuck out to me. And that just came out of the event that I don't think is going to happen. I don't think Cole's going nowhere, but if he did, this is a good option for us.
Me too, King Booker. You know what I mean? I think we got to judge and weigh it first before we move on, just because he's got a fair amount of they put a fair amount of dollars in his jeans. You might as well get your ROI, man. Get your return on investment.
All right, let's talk about another guy, kids.
And I hope he's a running back. Go.
Yeah, you want to talk about a running back? Let's talk about this guy right here. I don't know how you sit on him, but I already put out a short.
Okay.
This is Antonio Gibson. Last played in New England. Yeah, New England. And this is one of those running backs that I remember when he first came into the league. I think he came out of Memphis or something like that. I watched a little bit of his tape.
Call, man.
What?
That's a good call because they drafted a running back in the draft too, right? They picked they've got Ramondre Stevenson. I forgot that Antonio Gibson was the not the backup back, but the second back over there. Now they've got another running back over there who can challenge Ramondre. And I'm just blanking out on who they drafted at this present time, but I'll figure it out in a couple minutes. This guy this guy would now be the odd man out. I like Antonio Gibson quite a bit.
Yeah. I think you're gonna like all the running backs. I got a few of them here.
Good. That's what I was asking for. That's what I need to see.
But Antonio Gibson, I think the way he sets up blocks, and it's like I remember him coming out. He kind of reminds me a lot of what's his name? I just came out of Kansas. I just did all that damn work with him. What's his name out of Kansas, the running back? You guys help me out in the chat. He reminds me a lot of that kid. His name is Devin something, I think. Devin something. He's out of Kansas, man, but this guy reminds me of him. I think this guy's got a lot more breakaway speed than the Kansas running back, but holy crap, man, this guy's productive, man. When he gets the ball, I didn't think that much of him when he first came out, but he just kept proving me wrong, He just racks up and accumulates yards the more and more you give him the ball, and I think it'd be a great compliment as an option here. You know what I mean? If for that fourth running back, third running back, whoever. I think he's a great option.
Okay, so nerd is Andre Bryant got it.
Devin Neal, thank you.
So Devin Neal. Devin Neal's a great back, right? Like he's a great back. I see what you mean, but from a comp perspective, I see what you mean. I do. Like I said, I like Antonio Gibson quite a bit. He played well in the Patriots last season. He played well. He played even better for the Washington Commanders when he was over there too. So the Patriots went out and they drafted Trey Henderson. Trey Henderson. My bad. That's who got Trey Henderson. They were just ahead of us in the draft and they selected him, which was surprising to me because of how good a running back Ramondre Stevenson has been for them for the past couple of seasons. Maybe they just feel that he's got a little bit too much tread on the tires right now. And fact is, he has been hurt on and off these last two seasons, even though he's been putting up ridiculous numbers. During those hurt periods of time, they went out, got Antonio Gibson, plugged him in again. He picked up the rock and did quite well. I wouldn't be mad if he fell out of New England and wound up in Chicago. That's a really good addition to what we do here. Here's my slight beef with it. He's more of the same. And what I'm saying is, like, he would be a poor man's DeAndre Swift, in my opinion. I really like this running back, though.
No, I like him too, man. I think you definitely upgrade your running back room if you put him in this room. I think you definitely upgrade.
I can't argue with that. He would definitely be a really good. He'd be a really good backup back. I can't really consider him just in Chicago, a running back by committee situation. That's my problem with Gibson here. He's a great pass catching back. Runs well between the tackles, and these are things that I would say about DeAndre Swift, right? Like, DeAndre Swift is a great pass catching back. He needs to be better between the tackles, in my opinion. He needs to have better field vision, but he's similar, and I would have to say better than Antonio Gibson in this capacity.
So Andre Bryan says he follows some New England Patriots pages. They say Gibson might be RB4 on that roster. Huh?
Wow.
He's a good back, and it's like hard to, I don't know, it's going to be hard for them to just say, you know what, we're done.
Who's RB3?
Yeah.
Like, let me now you got
a nice little stable of backs now.
You just piqued my interest. I'm gonna look right now. C East. I gotta look. Active roster.
Yeah, so anybody that I pulled up, and we got a handful more guys to talk about, but anybody that you see me pull up, it's just that I had to put some thought into it. It wouldn't just be randomly, like Kirk Cousins is out there as a June 1st cut candidate, Will Levis, people like that, Sky Moore, those are names that are out there, you know what I mean? But, I don't see any chance of us even looking in that direction, I wouldn't put it up here. But if I put it up here, there's at least an outside chance that somebody could be eyeballing the situation in Hallis Hall. So, all right, here. You still want to talk about Antonio Gibson?
No. I'm okay with Gibson, but like this is not a bad. It's not a bad look for Chicago. It'd be an interesting look. Who we got next?
All right, I'm gonna go away from the running backs for a second.
All right,
we go here. This might surprise you, but there's a lot of talk about, and there's been a lot of movement inside of Hallis Hall about the safety position. A lot of people thought we would draft safety. Also, there might be still question marks about Jaquan Brisker. We're going to talk about that and talking about the training camp storylines. But, I do think based on what they did this offseason, based on what they didn't do in the draft, and based on what the situation came out to be in the UDFA signings, the guys that they signed two safety UDFAs. And so that tells me something. That tells me that they see something that they think they can get better at, whether it's a young guy or a veteran guy, because there's a mixture of them inside that building right about now. Got a few young guys in there, but they got some guys that can transition to safety. But if they seen some stuff out here during the OTAs and they're just like, all right, man, we might want to look in another direction. Geno Stone. Let me say this about Geno Stone. He last played in Cincinnati, obviously. You see that. But he's a Baltimore Raven, true and through. Everything about Geno Stone is tough, rough, physical. Like, I don't know, kids, if you agree with this or not, but there's a lot of teams out there that, and I'm not really biased against any team or the other, but when you're talking about getting some, leftovers from a team that, we don't have the space to keep them, or we don't have this to give him what he wants, then we might have to let him go. If you ever want to get a team's leftovers, especially defensively, if you ever want to find some good leftovers from a team that knows how to draft defensively, the Baltimore Ravens is the place you will want to look. And he is a Baltimore Raven, even though he played a year with Cincinnati. this would be a good pickup for us.
You think he's going to fall out of favor here?
He only signed 1 year contract. He's probably looking for a little bit more money. And they just drafted a bunch of defenders, man. So it's likely that he probably won't be there.
And he's a box safety, huh?
Oh, he's definitely a box safety.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I think we're missing right about now. The backup box safety, I think, is in question.
This is not a bad look, buddy. Not a bad look at all. So he didn't sign for big money in Cincinnati.
I don't think so.
He didn't. I'm looking at the money right now. He didn't sign a 1 year deal. It's negligible. Maybe they're looking to clear space. Tomorrow gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. They have to figure out this Trey Hendrickson thing tomorrow. Basically,
you think so? I think they got that might play out until
but
in the camp, bro.
Yeah, but tomorrow they have to pay him a big chunk of money.
Oh, okay.
That's what June 1 represents. June 1 represents, okay, like we got to pay these guys a certain subset of their contract today to do training camp. Like that's what June 1 is about. If you want to get out of paying these guys, you need to deal them, cut them, etc. June 1. We'll call it June 2 because June 1 fell on a Sunday. You know what I'm saying? So that's really what's going on. If they want to sneak out of the roster bonus on Trey Hendrickson, they need to deal him tomorrow. So if they can't do that, they may be stuck paying that roster bonus. And I'm going to go back and check and look at what that roster bonus is for him. But I'm sure it's much more than the $5 million that Geno Stone's entire contract adds up to. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Darius Morgan. He said he caught us live, man. He's been looking to catch us live. Hope everybody's good, man. Hope you good, Darius. Everything is beautiful and peachy here, bro.
So 2025. It's not that bad.
So
it's not that bad. It's like $3 million. June 1st bonus for Trey Hendrickson right now, which is less than Geno Stone. So it is what it is.
But they have to pay him $3 million. That's all?
Well, no, that's not all. That is just that's just for the existing contract he has right now that he doesn't want to play on, and that's who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Trey Hendrickson, $3 million. This guy, his full contract is $5 million. So cutting him, you could pay Trey, and you have a couple extra bucks to mess around with the Trey Hendrickson contract, which is obviously coming down the tubes, especially if they are paying this $3 million to him. It's likely that they're going to re-sign him.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So, okay. I think now that you mention that, it could be two things going on here. Of course, it could be because it's Sunday and nobody wants to do business on non-business days, during non-business hours. They could be waiting until Monday to do all that stuff.
Yep.
Right? And then there also is the albatross in the room, which is Trey Hendrickson. Maybe, some whispering around the league and asking a whole bunch of questions and picking up the phone, calling different places to see what's going on with that. Could be that this hasn't resolved itself yet. No designation has been placed on what they're going to do with him, and maybe people are just waiting to see what happens there. Do you think that's possible at all?
No, I think this is why I brought up Trey Hendrickson, period, when we're talking about Geno Stone. You know what I mean? So the Trey Hendrickson move, whatever the Bengals decide to do there, it should have a ripple effect on multiple things. One of them being whether Geno Stone is a Bengal this coming season, right?
Yeah,
we're talking about a lot of money potentially being pushed towards Trey Hendrickson. I'm not even sure if they can really afford to do this, and that's what has been in question the whole time. So whatever shakes out there tomorrow with respect to Trey Hendrickson, could have major ripple effects throughout the Bengals team. Other people could fall off, right? Geno Stone could fall off. He could be a part of a multi-cut to clear space in order to pay for Trey Hendrickson to stick around. This is a real good question from Paul. So he's asking, are there any other players on the Bears roster that we think could potentially be trades?
I would, if I were a betting man right about now, and I don't know how hot the phone calls back and forth would be right now because the player is injured. But if I was a betting man, I would probably think that people might be calling and looking to see if they can grab Braxton.
Wow.
It wouldn't surprise me if people were calling about Braxton, but because he's coming off an injury, there's probably a whole bunch of question marks around him.
Wow.
A surgery on top of that.
Wow. You know what I mean? As soon as you said injury, I was like, I know who you're referring to, and that's an interesting conversation to be had. There's another one, Andre Bryant. He hurt too. Ryan Bates is another one. So those are two guys, to be honest with you. Those are two guys that would make for very interesting trade caliber, trade capital on the market tomorrow. I would have to say, like, again, in a package situation. Wow. In a package situation, this would be a nice package for the Cincinnati Bengals. Get yourself a left tackle, you get yourself a center guard, and you get yourself a tight end.
Kansas City's looking for a left tackle too.
They just might be. They're gonna have to give us a hell of a lot more than we gave them, though. Just putting that out there. You gotta trade up. You know what I mean? You gotta get some return on investment. But yeah, that's these are things that could happen. They do need a left tackle in Kansas City. I'm going to sit here and say that the fact is there isn't a lot of left tackle movement in the NFL. There just isn't. It's either you're cut because you're not good enough, or somebody's paying you big money. It's like one of the KC paid their left tackle. Okay, so
they did grab somebody and
sticking around. So you know what I mean? There's not a lot of left tackle movement. What the Bears have done these past two off seasons was bolster the left tackle position with respect to to really solidifying the position as it is. I'm not going to sit here and say that Braxton Jones is a terrible left tackle. I'm going to say that the line last year was terrible. That's where I am. As a cohesive unit, not a good cohesive unit. A lot of fluctuation there. So. Given the different scenery, maybe Braxton Jones is, something else. Who knows? I think it's worth
Well, I'm absolutely certain Braxton Jones is not a bad left tackle. He's a really good left tackle. He just has a weakness that is hard to overcome. And when you have that big a weakness, and as good a tackle as he is, man, he's excellent. Braxton Jones is excellent. Technically, all across the board, he's a little jumpy. Since Caleb got here, I don't know what it is between him and Caleb's cadence, but he's been jumpy since Caleb got here. I don't know if I remember him being like that too much when Justin was calling it, but for whatever reason, he got jumpy as hell this year, man. And that's just one little minor. It's an easy fix for an offensive lineman, but I think Braxton Jones technically is a really, really good tackle. Really good. He just has no bottom to him and cannot do anything against a strong bull rush. That's
Andre Bryant just came up with a very valid point. So Braxton Jones probably can't pass a physical today, which would make it impossible for them to trade him today. Like it's a very, very valid point there, Andre. Thanks for throwing that in there. That would throw a bit of a monkey wrench into trade conversations for Braxton Jones today. Perhaps again between now and the start of the season, or just a little ways after the season starts, because I'm sure we're going to be looking at some level of a combination / competition between Kiran and Ozzy may the best man win. Once the best man is won, and Braxton gets back to being healthy, we got another conversation to be had. But definitely Ryan Bates is one of them guys, man. Ryan Bates should be a trade conversation to be had.
All right, so let's talk about this guy right here. Another running back, Devin Singletary. Now, Devin Singletary just played a year with the Giants, but he spent the past 4 years with Buffalo, which I always thought that Devin Singletary is a very, very underrated back. I don't consider him, even though he had to do this at times while he was with Buffalo, he was an every down back. And he can do it all now. He's a great receiving back. He's good in short yardage. That juke that he has to him, man, making people miss in the hole. I think Devin Singletary has some really, really good traits to him. And I think as a rotation piece, instead of the feature running back, I think Devin Singletary probably shows more Devin Singletary, the best side of Devin Singletary, instead of a lead back, which he had to play that role for a good minute in Buffalo before Cook really took over that role. It was a lot of Devin Singletary, my guy. And this guy is a possibility for a June 1st cut. And I also believe that this guy would definitely upgrade our running back room for sure. For sure. Devin Singletary, man.
I'm trying to remember this draft class. So he was 2019. Josh Jacobs, Miles Sanders, Darrell Henderson, Damian Harris. Was 2019 David Montgomery as well? I feel like it's David Montgomery too.
No,
David Montgomery's in the same class.
So Singletary?
Yeah,
he's the
same. I knew it. I just needed verification. I have my verification. So, I thought this back was amazing in college. From a scouting perspective, I thought it was fantastic. Getting to the NFL, I expected so much more from this particular back, man. I have to say it out loud. I expected him to really take the reins in Buffalo and run with it because there was nobody in front of him with respect to the running back position. They gave him that opportunity, and it just never materialized. Enter James Cook a couple of years later. James Cook is drafted mainly because Devin Singletary wasn't doing it. And he's sort of taken over the reins. He's been a little bit more of a bell cow back for the Buffalo Bills than Devin Singletary ever was. Then Devin went over to New York.
By the way, this is Devin Singletary, not a Saquon Barkley. Don't be confused. This is Devin Singletary.
And that's what I need to look at. So if I remember correctly, though, he played real well with them by way of stats.
He's a really good running back, kid. You weren't misled by what you saw on tape. I saw the same things. I think offensively, when he was at Buffalo, I think they were more of a pass-heavy offense when he was given that opportunity. More recently, in the last couple of years since James Cook got there, they run the ball a lot more than they did. It was a lot of Josh Allen throwing the ball all over the yard, and I wouldn't like him averaging a 25 carry game. I would expect that's probably rare when he was in Buffalo, and he got the ball off in there. So, depending on what time frame you're talking about when he got those opportunities, I think within his first or second year, I think that was the best part of Devin Singletary in that offense. But after that, Josh Allen started really, really throwing that ball around, and now now they're back to a power running game. And so it's different now. You know what I mean? Now James Cook, ain't no looking back from that.
No looking back. I don't like this particular back throws me for a loop. I just have to say it. So he's basically been a consistent 800 to 900 yard guy over the course of his career, with the exception of last year in New York. Now, maybe that's just because defense is loaded, 10 in the box, thinking ain't no passing going on here, so stop the run. You know what I mean? Like maybe that's what was going on with New York, and I would understand it. But his output last year was less than 50% of what he's done for the most part his entire career, right? He was only 400. He was only good for 400 yards last year, 437. That's in 15 games played. In 2019, his rookie season with 12 games played, he put up 775 yards. So I'm just giving sort of a bit of a contrast here. I don't know, man.
I think he in a role that I would expect him to be playing here. You're talking about second or third back in the rotation. Then that's exactly when you can probably see the best Devin Singletary you can see. In my opinion, to me, the more you give the guy the ball, I think the better he gets. But in a situation that he would come in here in Chicago, it's never going to be you getting 15 touches a game. You might be looking at 7 to 8 touches in a game. That's about where it's going to be for him right now. And so I do think this guy can come in and really, really complement that running back room. If they decided they want to upgrade it, I still feel like that running back room is incomplete. I agree with you, Darius. When Darius says this, Darius Morgan says the O-line upgrades are going to help our run game significantly, even if we roll with who's there. I agree with that too.
Yes.
I agree with that.
That is factual. I personally, at this point, I think we'll see a little bit of a different output from DeAndre Swift. Like his output wasn't terrible last season. If you're looking at it statistically, it wasn't terrible. It was actually pretty decent. You know what I mean? Like he was 1,000-yard rusher.
Around to that, kid. It took me a while to get you there, but I'm so glad you got there.
Well, I'm not sure if it was you who got me there. It's just me and my heart. You know what I mean? After looking at the actual hard numbers, the hard numbers are they're okay, right? They're in line with what he should be doing. I just expected a little bit more oomph and excitement out of him, and we didn't get in. It's fine. With a better offensive line, I believe we will see a lot more of that this season. The guy that I'm actually worried about is the other guy. That's where I'm at.
Rowe is, that's the question mark everybody has.
Yeah.
That's Devin Singletary. We got one more running back to talk about, but not just yet. We got another guy that we need to discuss, and that is, nope, wrong guy.
That's not him.
David Ojabo. Do you remember when he came out of Michigan that year? And, Jim Harbaugh was still there. I think Aiden Hutchinson was there when he came out. I think he was on the other side of Aiden Hutchinson. And people were saying during that draft that this guy had an even stronger upside than Aiden Hutchinson during at the time. I don't think so. What happened with David Ojabo is he got I think he got hurt at the end of his last Michigan season. I'm not sure if I'm right about that, but either he got hurt at the end of that season or got hurt in that training camp with Baltimore in his rookie season. And things haven't quite matched up to expectation thus far. But I do believe David Ojabo has a tremendous upside if he can stay healthy and get back to form. I don't know what's happened down there, but reports I've seen in a couple different places that they could be possibly done and ready to move on from him. I can't be sure exactly what they did in the draft, but I want to say a move or two that they made in the draft and maybe a couple of UDFAs that they signed might lead towards that fact that they might move on from him. And he's definitely a June 1st cut candidate. Edge rusher. They play a 3-4. We play a 4-3. I do think he can put his hands in the dirt. I think he's totally capable of being a stud edge rusher if given the opportunity. I think this is a guy we need to pay attention to if he's cut.
You think they do this? Do you think they make a cut here? Because
it's a strong possibility from what I'm hearing.
I'm looking at his stats,
I'm not sure, Oliver. I'm not sure exactly. I think, but I don't want to say it because I don't know.
I can probably tell you here. Injury, ankle injury. That's all that I'm getting here. He injured his ankle. That's in 2023.
Whatever it was, it cost him a damn season.
It cost him for the most part 2 seasons.
Two
So
seasons.
so they're saying it happened in 2023, but he was drafted in 2022. Guess how many games he played in 22?
That's why I'm very, very thank you, Andre. Andre said they drafted Mike Green. That should tell you a lot.
It does. First thing it tells us, we probably should have drafted Mike Green. In any event, so maybe they are moving away from this particular edge rusher. He only played 2 games, man, in 2022, which is surprising.
Is that his draft year or the year after?
That's his draft year.
Oh, I thought he lost the whole season.
Well, he did. He played 2 games. That's it.
Well, he didn't lose the whole season.
Well, he didn't lose the whole season in 2023 either. He played 3 games, but it's an 18-game season. He missed 15 games and 16 games in these two years. 2024, he played 13 games, but in 13 games, 2 sacks, 9 total tackles, 5 solo, 4 assisted. Not much by way of output here, y'all.
2 sacks in how many games?
In 13 games.
Okay. Yeah. I'll have to I looked at some tape earlier today. I would just say that those numbers there are most of the time misleading. And I would give him a little more credit than that.
Fair. And what I would say here is more rooted around bang for buck and upside. If you can get a good price point on a David Ojabo and bring him in, develop him, get him on the field, I think it's worth a conversation. It's definitely worth a negotiation to be had. But if we are looking statistically at what he's done so far, facts is injured, and not so much.
Hey, when you're talking about grabbing a guy like this and the upside,
it's all upside, bro. It's all upside.
And you're looking at a guy on your roster, and you're looking at a Dominique Robinson or somebody like that, and you're feeling like, okay, if we let this guy go, if we give this guy a couple of, let's say we give him a few weeks in camp and we're not seeing what we're looking for, I don't know if David Ojabo is there a week if he gets cut. That's how strong I think his upside is. So this might be one of those ham-handed decisions that you have to make right now and just be expeditious about it, dude. Straight up, you just might have to make a hard-ass decision and say, you know what? We got to make an executive choice here. We got to let go of Dominique Robinson. And
I was just gonna say it's no worse than that. Like it is the exact same thing that you would be doing after doing it for a couple of years with a different player and having it be mediocre. You just bring in a guy like this out on a low wallet share deal for a couple of years, develop him, and see what you get. I have no problems with this.
All right, that's David Ojabo. It possibly could be getting cut. Could be a June 1 designated cut.
Ollie Chapman, why do you think Dom Rob ain't going anywhere?
Hey, Dom Rob, man, you know what? Dom Rob making it this far, to Oliver's point, at some point, you expect to see that breakthrough, man. You do. I mean, you got to remember, I say this all the time when trying to defend Dominique Robinson, knowing that he had to switch sides of the ball his last year in college. He just hadn't had a whole lot of time on task. Most of these guys have been doing this at least since high school.
Yeah. And
then through college. I mean, I love to see Dominique Robinson shut everybody up, including myself, because I was a huge Dominique Robinson fan, saw the upside, and I still think he can be tremendous. I don't know what is going to happen here, though. And that's what scares me about it.
So, I'm so with you, but at this point, I'm also kind of not. Like, looking at him coming in, there's actually a picture, there's a photo of him, Chase Young, and somebody else They all used to play together. And just looking at the measurables, like how imposing a human being Dominique Robinson actually is crazy. It was like you make Chase Young look small, which is half the reason why they put him on the edge the year after Chase left. Like, you're huge, man. You need to be out there doing it. And he just did it with athleticism and got himself drafted as an edge rusher, right? Like that's how that story goes. The problem for me, and I was just watching clips of my son practicing, as an edge rusher. You're right, man. Like there's a lot of time on task that he just hasn't had the opportunity to do, and with that time on task comes a ghost rush, comes a long arm stab, comes a swim and a rip, and you get these tools in you put these tools in your bag and you go to work. I'm not so sure if he's had the opportunity and or time to build an arsenal like that. And the greatest expose of that for me was just watching Austin Booker come in here last year and be like, yo, I got this move and it's dangerous. And his long arm stab is dangerous, yo. It really is. I wish Dom Rob had something along those lines. So here's what I'm thinking and what I'm hoping. So we're hearing a little bit of talk about how Dom Rob was getting his bull rush on over top of Darnell Wright. Now this is not in pads. This is OTA first couple of weeks. We'll see if it continues on. But maybe that's what he was missing. Maybe he was missing that bull rush because I see him get stood up a lot.
How many times I said that, kid, on different shows? You know how many times I said that?
No idea.
I kept saying that this guy he was trying too many different things. He had too much shit he had in his head. And I was just like, man, he needs to focus on one or two moves, get a strong bull rush and a counter to it, or, inside swim and a counter to it. Just one or two moves and just be really, really good at those two moves.
Yeah.
You could tell he was trying to do all kinds of different stuff. There was one time when what's his name was here, number 91, what's his name? Edge rusher we had for a year. When he was here, I could see his influence on Dominique Robinson's play because he had this little hop step when he's trying to go around the wide side of the pass rush, trying to go around. He had a little hop step that he did to kind of put the offensive lineman in a trick bag as like, what is he going to do? He just leaves the ground, kind of makes the guy freeze, and he just gets around him. And I seen Dominique Robinson trying to do that. And I was just like, that would be cool if you had the skill set to make that work. He doesn't have the skill set to make all those kinds of moves work because, like you said, the time on task ain't there. Yeah. You have to rep that shit up and just constantly rep it to get it really, really good. And I do think, man, I think there's a slim chance that, and there's always a chance with any football player, that he could be a different football player by the time he gets to this camp with Dennis Allen. But we'll see. We'll see.
I just want to finish it off with this. So over the course of the last 2 years, he's put on a lot more size, as in muscle, than he had before. So maybe it is a bull rush situation. Maybe he's the bull rush guy and he needs to master that. If he can master that and utilize that as a strength, hey, maybe Dom Rob is something, right? Maybe he's a guy. We're going to have to see. We got a couple months to find out.
All I know is he better get it and get it quick. And that's that. Darius Morgan, I starred your comment. We will try to come back to it once we get after this next player that we need to talk about. We're going to get into these storylines and camp. We'll talk about some of that. But here's the next guy. And kids, before I put this up here, I had an indicator. And I don't know where I got it from, but I got a strong indication that you're going to like this thought right here.
All right.
Austin Ekeler. June 1st cut. He's a possibility out there now. I'm going to just start the conversation off like this. Austin Ekeler has been slept on his entire life. This is a mighty mouse right here. This dude is a tank. And I mean a tank. He doesn't have the weight to back me up when I say he's a tank, but I know he's a tank and I mean in his heart and outside of him too. Man, this dude right here has constantly proven everybody wrong. You give this guy the ball enough time, give him enough opportunity, he is going to show you that he's a worthwhile running back in an on an NFL team. And I think if this guy is a June 1st cut, somebody inside a house hall needs to at least sit down in a room with Ryan Poe and say, hey, you know what? At least let's talk about this. Because I think Austin Eckler is all that. I really do. I don't think he's a world beater. I don't think he's a future Hall of Famer, none of that stuff. But when you're talking about upgrading your running back room and bringing some instant tough, and I can get it done when the time counts, time and time again, I've seen this guy in countless situations. When you need a couple of yards, when you're in a 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, and you need to spread this offense out and get the ball in his hands and make one guy miss so that you can get that first down. I've seen this guy do it countless amounts of times, man. Austin Eckler is all that. But I just want to see what you thought of this guy.
You picked two backs that I really, really like here today. Both of them have history with the Washington Commanders. First one was Antonio Gibson. Now we're talking about Austin Eckler. I just don't see them letting this guy go. You know what I mean? Like I just don't. They could. I just don't see it. So they really like Brian Robinson Jr. They like him a lot, and he's a solid back.
They just drafted another running back, man.
Yeah, but he ain't.
It might come down to dollars and cents for Austin Eckler, man.
They didn't see, and that's what happened. They didn't get Austin Eckler on a big money deal, which is kind of surprising. He was
only a 1-year deal, I bet you.
Let me see this here. They got a low wallet share on him, man. Got a low money because Austin Eckler was holding out in San Diego.
After that year that he had, I don't know that he has like great otherworldly numbers, but I've seen that dude produce for them when they needed him too many times. Bro, he's gonna want some more money. Trust me.
He was a fantastic back. And it's cool to see. I like undrafted UDFA RB. You know what I mean? Who rises to the occasion. Yeah, I love that, man. There's nothing I love more than that. Because the level of competition you're going up against as a running back is astronomical. You know what I mean? Like you're going up against a lot of humanity, and for this guy to sort of claw his way through that and become a bell cow, for the Chargers, do it big, consistently, get a big contract, and then have them sort of mess him about. He sort of fell over to Washington. He got a 2-year, $8 million deal. That was his deal. That is the type of deal that any team could swallow. You know, I'm just being real. He's 29 years old today, not super old. If he fell out the tree in Washington, I think they should. I think taking a run at. So Darius, he didn't do great last year, but that's just because Brian Robinson is in front of him. So Brian Robinson is going to get all the looks all day long, and that's he played 12 games last year. Rushing attempts 77, which is probably the lowest of his career. Like the closest to that is 47 looks in his rookie season, right? So Brian Robinson just got the rock last year in Washington, and that's sort of the fact of the matter. If you go back 1 year removed, 630 snaps versus 412 snaps, 179 rushes for more than double the yardage. One more year, about 1,000 yards, similar snaps, right? Like he's a guy. I really like this guy. I know he's got that that chip on his shoulder for sure. Yo, I wasn't even drafted, and I gotta work to get here. I gotta work to do this. I like that about Austin Eckler, and I think oh snap, his 30th was last month. You got his birthday on deck, Austin or Andre. I'm just looking here, but either way, man, I wouldn't be mad if they brought him to Chicago either. I like this running back a lot.
You know what, man? This guy, every time I see him run, it reminds me of this. I think I was a freshman or sophomore in high school. On a varsity game, man, I think we was playing a Peoria team or somewhere. It might have been a Whitney. I don't know exactly who it was, but we was playing them. The linebacker and the D lineman was having such a hard time with this guy, and we had a stout defense at the time, thoroughbreds up there, and this guy was popping off 5 and 6 yards of pop on us. And I remember going to the huddle, man, and I heard one of the linebackers say, I said something, and I'm a sophomore. I ain't supposed to be really saying no. I'm like, man, what's going on, man? Why y'all can't get, man, dude, a sidewinder? I said, the fuck you mean a sidewinder? He said, the sidewinder, man. He's slithery, man. He always moving. Like, and I get to looking at Austin Eckler run. It's like, it's hard to, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's hard. He's never going north and south very often. He's always juking, going left, right. And it's why I call him a sidewinder. Funny story I had to bring up, because Austin Eckler reminds me of that running back that we had to deal with high school. The safeties was mad because they was constantly having to come up and fill the hole. And they're just like, man, we got to stop this cat. But we got it. Second half adjustment, man, we got him. But Austin Eckler is a problem in the hole. Very rarely is one guy going to get him on the ground. That guy in the hole rarely is going to get him on the ground. His juke button is elite.
So Smitty Q is asking, why do the Bears need old running backs? He's asking. It's a good question. Here's why. Injury. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm on knock on some wood. They need one more back.
He sounded like Trip right about now. Sorry.
I know. Agents. But look, facts is like running backs get hurt, man. You got to have a decent running back stable. There's a couple of guys that I think we can count on. But again, when you know what hits the fan, you need to make sure that you've got somebody else back there that can manage all this. See, there it is. And Andre Bryan is being a real one in the chat tonight. Shout out to you, Andre. Straight up. Yeah, he's saying Nick Chubb's that guy. And I wish I could argue with that.
I know he is.
I wish I could argue. I can't.
Why you being funny, Don? I wish we would re-sign Khalil Herbert, to tell you the truth.
You know what?
I really would.
I wouldn't be mad at that at all.
Shit, I wish we would sign Khalil Herbert again. We know what Khalil Herbert can be. You know, you don't really necessarily want to utilize him in too much of a passing game, but his hands got a whole lot better.
He's not like don't. I hate when people do that.
Yeah, his hands got a lot better after that. I would just say that rookie year. I think after that his hands started getting a whole lot better.
He wasn't that bad with his hands. Like he wasn't that bad. Like man, he's a decent pass catching back, especially out like if he catches it and he's out in space, it's a problem. It's a problem, and that's factual. That was, I think, his only one of his few plays last season was a quick screen, and he took it to the house.
Oh, Dion, he said he just came in. We're talking about June 1st cut candidates. These are, we just got through talking about 7-8 guys that are in that market that might get cut, and Austin Eckler is the last guy we're going to be talking about, because we're about to take this down and get into some training camp storylines, man. And the first thing I want to talk about, let me get to question. We had a star comment up there I need to get to, and that is, I think this is it. Dom Rob is going to have a tough time staying with us, similar to Pickens. They have to really step up and to not get cut. How do you guys feel about Booker in this new system? I think Booker in this new system, and me personally, I think Booker is one of those guys that I think it's gonna really translate with him, because when you hear Dennis Allen say these words, you're not going to worry about technique as much. It's really being fast, really being aggressive, and getting off the ball. When you hear the defensive coordinator say things like that, and you start thinking about the defensive front, and you start thinking about coming into a second year Austin Booker, and he's just basically telling the man, "You thinking? I don't want you thinking. I want you acting. I want you to be really fast, really powerful, and really, really affect the quarterback. I don't care how you do it. Don't worry about the technique." And the way Austin Booker plays, he's relentless as it is. And imagine if he's not thinking. Imagine relentless ass Austin Booker with all the technique stuff that he was being taught as a rookie, thinking about all that stuff, trying to work through a left tackle or a right tackle. He's thinking about a lot of stuff. Now you just brought a coach in and just told him, don't think about any of it. Just let it naturally come to you. Just get to the quarterback. Collapse the pocket is what you got to do, and do it fast. I think that's going to fare very well for him. That's why Austin Booker is one of the guys that I'm really looking at to have a huge jump with the bringing Dennis Allen inside this building. I really think that's going to pay dividends for
him. My thoughts on the Booker thing, with respect to the Dom Rob thing, like, he, in my opinion, is like the anti-Dom Rob. He's coming in with a bag of tricks. He's got tricks. He knows those moves, and he can exact them very well. In my opinion, the problem with Austin Booker last year wasn't so much Austin Booker at all. It was the rest of the line to the other side of him. Those guys weren't really getting much pressure. They just weren't. Not up the middle, not on the other side, with Montez Sweat being a little bit hurt. This year, though, if they're getting pressure up the center with a Grady Jarrett or Gervon Dexter or an Andrew Billings, if there's center pressure now, and I think this is why they doubled down on the interior, tripled down on the interior with Shamar as well. If you're getting pressure in the center, quarterback has where to go. Can't step up into the pocket. It's got to be flushed to the right or the left. You're going in either direction. What I was seeing for the most part last season was Austin Booker collapsing the pocket on the right side or attacking it differently and then motoring back to get a tackle deep when nothing else is happening throughout the rest of the line. I think Austin Booker eats this season is really what I'm trying to say.
I bet all my money Austin Booker was high on the board, even in Dennis Allen's when he was still at the Saints. I guarantee you he was high on that list because Austin Booker plays like they play in New Orleans. Just gets off the ball really, really fast and really powerful. He's long. All the traits that he likes in edge rushers, Austin Booker has them. He's just you erase the mind of the stuff that he had in there before, and you just tell him to get after it. That's probably like dinner time in his head. He's hearing a dinner bell ringing. He's already off the chain as it is. His engine is crazy. Now you tell the guy, don't even think, just play.
This is it. So he's just thinking about crushing quarterbacks. And oh my goodness, here comes Grady Jarrett, who has the exact same thing on his mind, screaming up the middle. Where do you go, Mr. Quarterback? And that's the question of the day. Where do these quarterbacks go if we are getting pressure up the middle? Same token, who are you double teaming from a offensive line perspective? Booker's probably going to be running free for the better part of the first few games. So I hope that in those first few games we start to see the emergence of Austin Booker as a real threat in the NFL.
Yeah. Another storyline that I do want to talk about real quick is the new offense and a new defense and getting up to speed with that. And I say this often, and I don't know how people take it, but it's not a criticism towards anybody. I'm tired of saying that. Every time I get to mentioning anything about Caleb Williams, everybody gets all sensitive. I'm tired of excusing myself for that. No, I'm not. Nobody's attacking him. But what I want to do is point out that with the new system installation on offense with a second-year quarterback, people have to understand that either And I'd be curious to know, like, to be a fly on the wall inside a house hall, inside the offensive. I wouldn't worry about being in the quarterback room. I would want to know how it's going with the whole installation of the offense. So I would be wanting to be in on the offensive film watching session, or watching to see how they're setting up their installs. And I would love to know, outside of that, how much of Dennis Allen playbook, not Dennis Allen, but Ben Johnson's playbook is already developed, and how much they plan to install before we get to training camp. And once they get to training camp, I really think this, kids, I think they'll be in kind of hold it phase just to see how well it goes with the first installation of the stuff when they get into training camp. If it doesn't go over well, they'll probably go back to the drawing board and kind of double down on the first part of it. If it goes well, then you can put another installation of that part of your playbook, or another portion of it. So you can go from about a quarter of a playbook to almost about a half of it by the time the season starts. And then you can get to about halfway through the season. I mean, about 5 games in, or whenever they take that break, you might be able to get you could probably get a third of it in, just by what I know from having defensive installs and offensive installs in college. That's kind of how it works, man. It's just you getting in a little bit at a time. So what I want to say to everybody is, I think, expect some struggle. I would just say that. Expect some struggle. And it might not be as obvious when they're doing when we're practicing against each other. Until we get into that session when we're doing with Miami and Buffalo, then they'll kind of come out, because those guys are going to bring in different wrinkles to kind of expose the defense, the offense, to something they ain't used to seeing. And so I think it could go really, really well, but it can go really, really bad at the same time. That's one of my reservations about getting way too excited about the season like I want to be. It's the offense. I know how difficult that is, man. It's going to take a lot of time, and it ain't going to be a lot of time. Once they get here in the training camp, it's going to zoom by. So I would just tell people all the time, just be patient with these guys. Be patient with Caleb, because he's getting ready to deal with he's in a whole new terrain right now.
Yeah, well said. This is a new system, new coach, bunch of new players, rookie year 2 quarterback, and let's just call him a rookie quarterback because he's a rookie in this system with this coach, right? It's there's all sorts of different reasons why things could go semi sideways. There are. Strangely though, and it doesn't happen very frequently, but I have some optimism here. I do. I have some optimism with respect to the way that this particular coach is dotting I's and crossing T's. He's doing stuff that I don't see a lot of. He's paying attention to, to random things, like things that most of us would consider random. Like how you break out of the huddle. Like that's like, who cares? He cares. Is the actual answer to this.
That's a whole job by itself, man. Just getting the info in your head and in your helmet, and getting from there, getting to the line. Getting to the huddle and getting it out. The time is ticking. Then you got, not only that, kids, you got to go to the line of scrimmage, identify the defense, pre-snap, get the line shifted so you got the right protection, you got the right slides going on. Make sure you got a hot route in mind, and just in case you see the wrong or the right thing, you got the hot route ready. All of this stuff, and then you got to snap the ball and get it off in time.
And Darius just said, "F that, huddle up. Like, let's get back and do it again." Because this like why I'm bringing it up is like that's not necessarily like penalty situation. You're not necessarily going to draw a flag, but unless you're on time and doing it the right way, the more that you're on time doing it the right way, the less likely there may be a flag, right? Like it's these are the details that I'm interested in, right? When I was complaining a year and a bit ago about how come nobody figured out that they didn't that nobody can snap the football. I mean, nobody noticed that. You know what I mean? Like these are like, that's a huge thing. This guy's paying attention to the little things. I love that. So I have a strange feeling that, just sort of as you're saying, we'll see how the first few, like first quarter of the season goes. I think it'll go decently. The real upside is if it does go decently and Ben Johnson can build some cachet, some confidence within the team. If he can build that, then 2.0 version of the Ben Johnson offense is going to make so much more sense to this team. They're going to understand why they did 1.0 and where they're going in towards 3.
So here you are, you're going to get, somebody's going to be, imagine this, kid. You got a headset on, you got your right ear covered up so you can make sure you hear it really, really good. You got your hand up there and you hear jet right, double 45, sweep, or just some, let's just say jet right, X motion, power left, something, and then something else on 2. You're communicating to the offensive line. You're communicating to the receivers, telling them what package we're in. And you're also communicating with everybody else involved. And then you got to get all that out. Everybody's supposed to know what they got. And if those receivers go to the line of scrimmage and they see a little something and they're hoping Caleb is seeing it at the same time, they look over at him and Caleb is not recognizing, they're going to probably throw their hands up like, hey, man, this is hot route time. You got to call the hot route. Caleb has to. So what I'm trying to get at is it's a lot of information gathering, a lot of information being disseminated. So here's the difference between where Caleb is right now and where he's going to be. Right now, he's a renter in the system. He's going to, at some point, he's going to take full ownership of it. And it'll be like clockwork to him. But it's going to take reps. That's why I said he's a renter. Right about now, he's renter. You get what I mean? So when he owns it and he's a proprietor of it, he knows it in and out. Don't expect that to happen now.
I was just like, when do you think he will take ownership? How long do you think it'll take him?
About a season, somewhere.
You know what I mean? I was like, that's exactly the number that I expected you to say. It's probably going to take him a full season before he's really acclimated with the Ben Johnson way of doing things. Darius just nailed it, though. I think that adding Drew Dahlman might have been the saving grace. I also think that adding Case Keenum may also be the saving grace. I think those two guys.
Drew's going to help with the, slide and making sure they've got the right protections, right? Or they're going to slide.
And identifying those hot routes and things to that effect.
He won't do any of that. He won't do any of that. Now, if they ask him, like, I don't think they're going to ask him to identify what this defense is. He's going to look out at his front and he's going to see, okay, we got a slide protection this way. You're going to slide protection that way. It might be something about, okay, maybe he was going to run the ball to the left side and Dahlman sees something and the line sees something, tell him to switch that up. They probably got something built in to do that. But that's about as far as it goes. He might see a linebacker. He might help with the linebacker check with he's the mic over here. You know what I mean? This is the mic. Because anybody could be the mic. It don't have to be the middle linebacker. How do you identify the mic and what we do? So the mic could be the nickel cornerback. You know what I mean? Depending on where he's aligned at. So that's where a center comes in to help you because the mic ain't always the middle linebacker. Things like that.
No, I'm with it. If he can help him identify things like that, I think it's going to go a long way for Caleb. It'll make things that much simpler to understand. But I think the secret sauce is probably Case Keenum. Like I have to say that out loud. Case Keenum's been in a lot of situations, and I ain't gonna sit here and say that Case Keenum is the greatest quarterback in the NFL or anything crazy like that. I am going to say he's a career backup quarterback. And that's the role he's in right now.
Case Keenum can ball, dude.
I'm not taking anything away from Case Keenum. I'm saying he's a career backup quarterback.
Yeah.
And that's the role he's in today. That means that he's been carrying the clipboard for quite some time. He understands what it is to impart information to that guy who has the actual job. He's done this a bunch of times. So this isn't nothing new to Case Keenum. He's going to help the kid along, and I think it's going to go quite a ways. And why I say that is the guy we're talking about, very similar to what I just said about Austin Eckler. He's a guy who had to scratch and claw his way up to being a starter in the NFL and had some success as a starter in the NFL. That means he knows what needs to be done. He knows how the work needs to be put in, and he can share all that with Caleb Williams. So I think we may see a bit of a different Caleb Williams this time around, just because he's got somebody directly beside him now. Like all that question marks about like how do you watch film or whatever. He's got a guy who's definitely been watching film, definitely knows what he needs to do to be a starting caliber quarterback in the NFL, and can share some of that work ethic with him. I think we're going to see something a little bit different than we saw before.
I'll give you a hot take if you want one.
Let's go.
This is how strongly I feel about Case Keenum. I think the move to get Case Keenum is probably going to be 100 times more profound on Caleb Williams and for Caleb Williams than any offensive line moves and changes that were made. In fact, I think offensively, I think this is the MVP move of the offseason. I think he's that pivotal. And whether or not Caleb jumps this hurdle and gets across this threshold and turns into the quarterback we think he can be, Case Keenum can walk it like he talks it. He is going to add pressure to him. Not only that, he's going to take it away from the field and show him why this looks better when I do it versus what you do. That's all. That's the ball game, folks. Once Caleb can accept that and take that advice in stride and be a man about it and say, you know what? I know he's got my best interests at heart. He's just showing me, and hopefully it doesn't get to a point where Caleb has to get pulled off the field so that Case Keenum can go out there and have to demonstrate. But I think that signing, I don't think the Bears fans understand how pivotal of a move this is. This is of the utmost importance for Caleb Williams. Having a guy that knows how to do this and can execute this offense with precision is going to help. It's going to hopefully bend that learning curve that much sharper for Caleb Williams. I think it was a bomb-ass move. I got more excited about that than almost damn near Grady Jarrett. That's how important I think this move to get Case Keenum was.
Wow. So I'm not going to say all that, but I even me not saying it, I agree with it. I think I was screaming for it all off season, right? I was looking over at the Washington Commander. You talk a lot about Washington today. Shout out to the real Telly out there. Shout out to you. But I was looking at Marcus Mariota over there running alongside Jaden Daniels and giving him pointers, showing him what it's like to do what he needs to do. And Caleb over here really not having anybody along those lines to turn to or look at. I'm really glad they brought in this particular guy because he's not really trying to vie. You know, it's so different than like what we saw during the Justin Fields era, right? The guys they brought in were trying to start. Nick Foles was trying to start, man. You know what I mean? Andy Dalton was trying to start. You know what I'm saying? Like these guys were trying to start. They weren't really card carrying backups who were trying to help Justin improve and get better.
You know something? I think the best, I'd say close to the best version of Justin Fields we saw was with a hot Tyson Bagent at his back.
Bro, that was it. That was just competition. You know what I'm saying? It was competition. It wasn't.
Watch what happens when we get in camp when Case Keenum gets a chance to play. When Caleb struggles with the comprehension part of it and the execution phase of what this offense has to be in, and Case Keenum comes out there and he's slinging that ball all over the place. Same thing.
Yeah. Let me show you. Let me just give me a couple snaps. Let me go out there, show you how it's done.
Exactly.
And he's gonna go out there and he's gonna lace it up, and he's gonna throw a couple of bombs, and Caleb's gonna be like, "Holy smokes, you're old, buddy." He's saying you're old, but you can rip the pill, doc. You can still rip the pill, and you know what's going on. How did you know that was gonna play out that way? And these are the conversations that are gonna happen. And apparently he's already thrown some really nice passes. Right, just to say that about the guy Case Keenum, he's thrown some really nice passes in practice so far. So I expect a lot of that to continue.
I know it's real, kids, because like I hate to, I got to use myself here, man. This is a good example. My senior year, this is by the time I had all the clout, you know what I mean, and all my teammates looked up to me, especially the younger ones. And somebody got hurt. I think the other corner. I think it was it was the other corner got hurt, and we had to throw a sophomore in there. I think freshman or sophomore. I can't remember, but he was. I can look at him in the huddle and tell he was nervous as all shit. And we got through that game. But I was coaching his ass up the whole time, like, shake it off, man. You're gonna be all right, man. Just trying to keep him confident, because that's what you got to be as a corner. And so that week, I can remember him telling him to come over to the house. And, this is after I started learning how to watch a little tape, and I would get, my defensive coordinator, he'd cut up a little bit and give it to me, and I'll take it home and be watching it. Some of the guys would come over and watch with me from time to time, but most of the time I'll be by myself. And I told him to come over to the house. And I started teaching him, look, this is what you're looking for, man. You look, when you see this formation right here, this is going to come out of that. This is where you have to be aligned. Make sure you can't go wrong if you got this leverage and you got this alignment. All you have to do is watch and make sure you got proper depth. Little things like that. And I could see, he was just throwing stuff back at me. So when I see trips right or trips left, this is what I got to do. You over here, man. You stay over here and you wait till the play comes to you. Little things like that. And that guy came out in that next game. And I'm just talking about a very small time example of what Case Keenum is going to bring to Caleb Williams. That confidence that he'll give him after he goes out and makes mistakes in camp. And when they're out there, installing, he'll come in there. He is going to be so invaluable. Like Ben Johnson can get the fuck up and leave the room at that point. Just let Case Keenum do yeoman's work with him from his perspective. He's out there throwing these plays the same way Caleb is. This is where your feet need to be, son. This is how you throw this open. You don't wait until this comes open. You throw this one open. You can't wait till this comes. Little things like that.
Yeah, he needs a veteran presence. I said it all last season. Needed a veteran presence in the building to just make things make sense. Little comments, little lead by example stuff that he can do in practice. I love the addition of Case Keenum, and I think it's worth its weight in gold, man. I wish I could say something else, but I think it's going to pay dividends, y'all. Like, I think it's going to pay dividends with respect to Caleb Williams and how he manages this offense this coming season.
It's going to be huge for Caleb, man. I can't, because we have Case Keenum, I feel a whole lot less nervous about Caleb Williams coming into his second year and having a new offense in 2 years. And, that, I'm telling you guys, y'all have no idea how pivotal Case Keenum is going to be for Caleb Williams to get over this hump. It's going to be huge. Yep. It's going to be huge. Well, that's one storyline to talk about. Let's talk about this, because I believe this is a big conversation that a lot of people want to talk about. Just not enough people talking about it. And that is Jaquan Brisker. We got a healthy Jaquan Brisker out there that's flying around, making a lot of noise in training camp so far. And he is coming into a contract year this year. And we'll talk about that as a secondary feature of this conversation, is whether or not he'll get paid. But I do believe that Jaquan Brisker is eager to prove a lot of people wrong about him. I believe that he can hear all the stuff being said outside the outside of House Hall. I know he does.
But what's being said?
That we probably need to get another safety.
Yeah,
people wanted.
But that ain't saying nothing. I want to actually hear what's being said. What's being said in your opinion?
They're going to move on from him.
But I'm asking you why. What's the purpose of moving on from a guy you just drafted a couple years ago?
Because when you're in the tent, and you're in the tent, you ain't out on the field.
All right, this is where we're going here.
That's the only problem anybody could have with Jaquan Brisker.
This is what I'm trying to get to. I'm trying to get to the nuts and bolts of the situation, and you just laid it on the line. People are saying that Jaquan Brisker is hurt too frequently. People are saying that Jaquan Brisker, for the most part, missed an entire season. So,
you know what? We got to talk about. Shout out to King Booker for this one, man. Thank you for bringing this up. We need to discuss this. He says, I think Brisker was healthy and passed the concussion protocol earlier and was just held out by the last coaching staff. That I'm starting to hear a little bit more and more about that. The further and further Flus gets from Howard's Hall, the more and more starting to trickle out. And I could tell, looking at Jaquan's social media, I can tell he really wants to speak on it, but I hope he doesn't throw him under the bus. But it might be more clarity that comes out behind that, man. It might be a little less than we thought it was, man.
I think it's a little less and a little more at the same time. A little more being that whatever transpired, Ryan Poles believes it, or else he'd be offering the kid a contract right now. All right, I'm just gonna put that out there. I think King Booker's hitting the nail on the head. I think that the last coaching staff held him out much longer than he needed to be held out, or he should have been held out. There were multiple instances on social media last year where Jaquan was questioning the coaching staff very, very pointedly, laughing at coaching decisions that had been made while he sits on a bench, more or less. He's off. He's not dressed. He's not at the game, right? He's able to watch the game and comment, which I'm sure he absolutely hates because he's a gamer, bro. He wants to play. He's a player. So where I am with this is it's prove it year, man. He's going to get out there, and I have all the faith in the world for this kid. I honestly do. He's one of my favorite players on the Bears. He brings a lot of he just brings a lot of soul. Soul's like the wrong. I'm looking like spirit. You know what I mean? He's an emotion when he's on the field, and I love that. You know what I mean? I love that about Brisker. He's there. He makes his impression felt every time he's on the field.
Oh, Jaquan Brisker is a whole vibe, bro.
He is, man. He's a vibe all to himself. I love that about him, and I think the team needs that from him. So again, as long as he can stay healthy and stay out of that tent, that's really all he needs to prove. It ain't nothing by way of physicality or capability or understanding. I think he's got all of those things in spades. He just needs to avoid concussions.
Let me tell you something, man. I don't care what coaches come to Chicago and left. If you know me, we've been talking for a long time doing these podcasts. I'm not one of those people that's going to talk trash about a coach just because he's not here and he didn't do so. I'm not that type of guy. I ain't kicking people in the nuts on their. No, I'm not that guy. I'm just not. I don't believe in it. It's like there's good qualities about every coach that we ever brought in here. And I'm not going to do that with Flus. But in the event that I hear, now I've heard this, just looking at some auxiliary shit that, I've been looking at. Some people have starting to leak this out that Jaquan Brisker and Khalil Herbert's situation kind of trekked side by side with each other. Like there was something going on that we just don't know about. And it was obviously some decision making that was made that wasn't favorable for the players, and they had no control over it. And so those two players in particular, Khalil and Jaquan, Khalil got out of the situation, and I'm sure he's happy about it. but he's probably tender about it. I would be if I was him. But Jaquan, if it comes out that Flus was holding that football player back for his own personal reasons, for whatever reasons those were, and didn't give this guy an opportunity to play when he was healthy and ready to play, I'm going to feel completely different about Matt Eberflus, and I'm going to have a different energy when it comes to that because I don't appreciate that. You taking opportunities, and in his case, opportunity to make this money and get this extension and get this check. You effing me around. If that comes out and it's Flus's fault that Jaquan Brisker didn't get on the field and there was some other shit going on, I'm gonna be hot. And for him, for Jaquan Brisker, because he's the one that's gonna lose money because of it.
Well, what I will say is I don't think that'll ever come out. I don't think that'll ever come out, and for more obvious reasons.
Oh, we just lost kids. And to finish what he's talking about, I think he was going down the road. Oh, here he goes. He came back.
Bounced myself right out of my own conversation. That's terrible. But
what were you saying, man?
I was just saying like that. I don't think Jaquan will ever really spill the beans on what happened with Flus. If something happened, I think he's just going to keep his head down and prove the theory. And all he's got to do is, try to tell Jesse, like, you're so right, man. Like he plays a physical style of box safety. Like he does. He's dangerous with it. And I'll be frank with you, that hit he took this season, he was so low, like he went so low for the legs on that tackle that he didn't expect to get cranked. And that running back should have been fined. Man, he should. I hope he was fined. I'm not sure if he was fined ultimately, but the running back went even lower to get head-to-head with him. You can't even complain about technique or anything to that effect with respect to that tackle. You can't get much lower than going for the guy's ankles. So it's an unfortunate situation, but that the sound from that tackle echoed out. Everybody heard it, and everybody knew, man, you gotta have a concussion, bro. You know what I mean? Like, wow. So, that concussion alone took him out for the rest of the season. Yeah. And that being said, just got to avoid that stuff this year. That's it.
All I know is, hey, man, this is a what have you done for me lately kind of league. And you can't do anything for me lately if you ain't on the field. If you ain't on the field, lessens your chance to, he's probably looking at Kyler and saying, God dang, that's supposed to be me too, getting this money. He's got to be feeling like that. Like, it ain't happening for me because of what? Because I got concussions, or I got a concussion and was ready to play and they wouldn't let me back. If it comes out that Flus was totally just trying to keep him safe, and which is the noble thing to do, then I'll do nothing but from now on, I'll always take my hat off to Flus. I don't have any bad things to say about Flus other than, I think he was a good coach, but he was a bad in-game manager of the situational football.
Man, all kinds of bad stuff to say.
I mean, and that makes you not such a good head coach.
You're a good man. You're a better man than me.
That is the most important part of being a head coach, is managing those situational football is everything. Situational football, how you call a defense, what you call, do you put these guys out here in a position to succeed, or do you put them out there to be vulnerable? Too many times they were in soft coverages and vulnerable and frustrated. Like, I was just looking at the game last night, I think against Minnesota. The first game against Minnesota, Flus had those guys out there in goal line situations playing the damn zone coverage when it was very, very easy. You had the personnel to tack up and play man-to-man, and these guys were just getting in space and getting receptions. I mean, like, come on, you can't. It got so frustrating, kids. I know you probably got tired of me just blowing my lid watching these coverages he was trotting them dudes out in. Like, man, get out of these zones. Get out of these zones.
No, like it didn't bug me because it's the more that you said it, the more that I recognized how vanilla this defense was, right? Like there was no chocolate. There was no other ice cream at all. It was 31 flavors of vanilla, and that's what you were getting at Baskin Robbins. But if Matt Eberflus was serving, right? That was just what it was. My beefs with him were, like I say, I've got all kinds of beefs here with that particular coach. Again, if you look at the chat, the entire chat saying he was a dope DC, and I give it to him. I'm with it there. Like I'm with you guys.
I don't know about all that, man.
He was all right. He was all right.
For what
there's problems with him being a DC too, and that's where that's what you kind of helped me understand, right? He was not dynamic, right? There was no adjustment.
No,
from a DC, like we talk about adjustment a lot more on the offensive side. What are you doing against the defense? Well, same token, if an offense is running the ball down your throat, what do you do? How do you switch and prevent that from happening, right? If they are throwing into open areas of the zone, what do you do? Do you switch to man? Do you do a man zone? What do you do? Well, Matt Eberflus kind of doesn't do any of those things. He sticks to what he does. Vanilla all day long, altered flavors.
I'm gonna tell you why this strikes a real strong chord with me and it runs so deep. I can remember, I think it was my junior going in my senior year, defensive coordinator in high school, man. He kept the same stuff was going on then. There's like if let's just say, for instance, fast forward to now, you're talking about Matt Eberflus and talking about soft coverages and zone concepts. That's great when you got young quarterbacks. Great concept to run when you got young, inexperienced quarterbacks who are seeing this stuff for the first time. Do that against Will Levis. Do that against any other young quarterback in the league that doesn't have enough experience to know how to pick that shit apart. Against the more veteran, the guys that know how to read defenses and know where the holes are, can't be calling that shit all day. And so in the summer of my junior year, my defensive coordinator, I love him to this day. I don't know why he brought it to me, but he asked me, he was just like, man, am I doing anything wrong? And I looked at him, he's like, don't be scared to tell me. It ain't gonna change nothing about me and you. Just tell me what. And I was like, man, too many times we're in soft coverages and we getting taken advantage of, man. Too many cloud coverages, man. Too much zone when you got to trust us to play man-to-man and get us off the field. He said, I thought you would say that. He said, how would you feel? Because we played kind of a dual package in high school. We played a lot of 2, 3, 4. We played all the zone coverages. But when it was time to get off the field and you got 3rd and 8, that's what I'm talking about with Matt Eberflus. Don't put them in that soft-ass cloud coverage where Matt Stafford is just like, oh, hell yeah, it's easy. He just, what? Are they really going to try out a cover 3 against me? Against me on a 3rd and 8. I'm just going to call a hot route to the tight end and eat your ass up. Right up the seam. So stuff like that, little things like that. It's like you heard Jalen Johnson discussing or talking about how he was upset because he was just too many times that the coach left him out there vulnerable. That's what he's talking about. Certain game management situations for a coach, you got to know when you got to get the reins off this and let them go be dogs. Let them tack up man to man, and let's see what happens. If you lose, you lose. But don't sit them out there in a soft ass coverage, knowing they're going to get taken advantage of and made to look bad. It's just awful, man.
There's that, and that's a whole thing all unto itself, and it's stuff that you helped me recognize quite a bit while we were watching them games together last season. But there's other things, right? Like understanding when to call a timeout. I don't like it. What's funny, what's come out over the course of the last season for me is in many different organizations, they have an actual human being who's like dedicated to that job. You know what I mean? Hey, man, you need to call a timeout now. And like, that's his job. Apparently that guy isn't, You know, he's not a member of the Bears organization. So, all I can say, they don't have a guy like that. They ain't paying that dude because Matt Eberflus had no clue any time of friggin', you know, he had no idea when to call a timeout, and that's just standard game management. It's not easy. Like, let me also say that Dennis Allen, as a head coach, suffered from this too. Now he's back to being a DC, so I'm with it. I'm super with it. I'm also with the fact that because he's had some of that misfortune, he may have learned a little, you know, a thing or two, and between him and Ben Johnson, they can have the conversations of, dude, should I really be calling a timeout here or not? Like, what do you think? Maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. At least they can have a conversation about this.
Kid, I'm sure you've been around enough competition. If not, you've seen your son been around enough competitive situations where you can kind of see. If you're there and you're intimate with the situation, you can tell that there are people in this world, and you probably know this away from competitive level. But whenever there's pressure, whenever there's situational stuff that's going on, when you got to go make the decision. Some people get tight in the ass, and some people just kind of flourish in those moments. You can tell Matt Eberflus got tight.
You got it, Nick. You got it. It's like the difference between being a freestyle MC and not being able to freestyle at all, just being a writer. It's really the difference. You put that guy, put the lights on, put him on the stage, give him a microphone, and go. Can he go? And if the bright lights are too big for you, you might freeze. And Matt Eberflus froze every single time. You know what I mean? Like, systematically froze when those lights were bright and the situation was too big for him. And that's unfortunate for the guy, man. I was really hoping that by year 3, he would have started to feel his way through this and wouldn't have major malfunctions in situational football moments, or at least would have found somebody to lean on in that situation. Nope. Hey, fail Mary. You know what I mean? Like, basically is where we are. When Kevin Byard is like, bro, what are you doing, bro? And you're having a conversation of back and forth with Kevin Byard to the level that you're on the field, you clearly don't know what you're doing. Do one of these. Just call the timeout.
It's too many times that he did not, like, that would have been, I know he tried to use Kyler often whenever he wanted to blitz, but he probably used Kyler too many times because Kyler can get stoned. He's not that heavy. Kevin Byard can go right through a running back. He'll go right through a goddamn running back. Seeing him do it too many times. Times when, you on that 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7, you got to get off the field and you sitting back there in the soft ass zone. And it was times where I wanted to transport to Soldier Field from a podcaster and get on the field like, man, give me this goddamn headset. What are you doing? Get aggressive. Stop mugging the blitz with TJ and Tremaine and send them. Don't mug it and send them up front and then have them drop back in the covers. No, send them. Overwhelm the quarterback. Get right in his face. Get him the fuck off the field. Those guys can cover for 2 seconds. Trust me. It's just that simple. That's how frustrating it is. And when you don't even trust your guys on the back end to be able to do their jobs, you're too worried about the worst thing that could happen.
And this is why Byard had to step up and be like, what are you doing? They're going to get 12 yards on this play. Are you sure?
Yeah, too many.
You know what I'm saying? Are you sure, boss, you want to do this? Because if you ain't sure.
Also, kid, I'm telling you, you just don't know.
It's me and you talking. What I'm really trying to say is, like, imagine the feeling if you were Kevin Byard. You know what I'm saying? In this situation, the I told you so moment of the year, you know what I'm saying? For Kevin Byard happened right then and there. Hey, coach, I told you, bro. I definitely told you. You know I told you. I was telling you. You should have taken time out. We could have talked this over. We could have changed the coverage. Nope.
No, Chris, Chi-Town Justice says, fellas, I still feel like the Bears team is going to struggle with getting pressure on a QB, especially the front four. What do you guys think? I'm gonna say this. I'm more optimistic the other way around than not. I think with the collection of them, like I don't look at pass rush as a individual thing with the edge rusher. I don't think about it like that.
It can be, but I'm with
It
you.
can be, but we
I'm with
talking about a collective. That's a team effort right there.
Yeah.
And so technically, if they do the right things on the inside, they're going to make the job of the outside guys even better. And if the outside guys start getting off, it's going to make technically the job from the interior guys get off. And so if they play that shit on the string and learn how to play off of each other, and that's the goal right there, Chi-Town, is if they really start gelling and start to understand how each other's strengths work and where they work at, when they work, and how to play off of that. So it's one thing to for us to see it on TV and all we see is guys getting off the line and they doing no, the communication between them. Like say for instance, Javon Dexter, he likes the bull rush from the middle, right? If he likes to bull rush a guard, or if he likes to bull rush a double team from the guard and center, he likes to bull rush them both. What's that going to do for Grady Jarrett when he knows Grady Jarrett's the kind of guy that knows how a guy sets up? He knows exactly what's going to happen before they take off on Javon Dexter. He knows if the double team is coming to him. And so you got a guy like that can communicate along your defensive front that kind of knows what's coming. They already a step ahead of the game. And that's just going to make that front, that interior front, even more ferocious. And it ups the probability of anybody on the edge, I don't care who it is, it betters his chance to get home because he's definitely going to be one-on-one. And so the collection of that, I think this is probably the first time. I think you're talking about Javon, you're talking about Andrew Billings, and now Grady Jarrett. Now you just got young, what's his name? Like that is going to definitely open some doors for you. It's going to open some eyes too once they gel with each other and kind of learn each other a little bit more. That I don't expect to jump right out the gate and be perfect, but I think they'll have some success. But the more and more the season goes on, I think that's probably going to be one of the highlight features of this defense is how dominant that front can be.
I wish you were, you know what I mean? Yeah. You're nailing it here because that's what I think is going to happen too. And if we take a sec to think back here and look at Montez Sweat year one with the Bears, he got a lot of what he got done all by himself. Really wasn't a lot of support. I'm going to say Andrew Billings was in support, really. But that was about it. Javon was a rookie trying to come up and figure things out. He's now going into year 3. Things are a little bit different for Javon. He's changed his body completely. He's much more muscular, right? Like if you see Javon Dexter today as opposed to Javon Dexter 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, night and day difference. So I think we're going to get a little bit of a different Javon. We're definitely getting a whole different thing in Grady Jarrett and Shamar Turner being on that line. Billings is still there, healthy. All this means to me is those DTs, like the defensive tackle position, is now a threat on the Chicago Bears, whereas it hasn't really been a threat, quote unquote, since Akeem Hicks has left. I think we've got a situation where a lot of pressure is going to happen right up the front, right up the middle. And that means that Montez Sweat is going to eat again because folks are going to be driven out towards him. And if you're a offensive coordinator worth a buck, you're going to tell your quarterback to run towards Austin Booker's side because, he's not Montez Sweat. And that's why I'm sort of saying whoever's really getting the starting role on the other side, I think that guy gets the opportunity to eat big, especially in the first quarter of the season.
Last thing I want to bring up, and that's just because I can't remember. I think Darius might have brought this up about I think it was Darius Morgan. He brought up, what do we think is going to happen with Zach Pickens? And trust me when I tell you guys, I got 30 other particular things that I wanted to talk about, but I'm gonna not do a 4-hour show tonight with Kez. He's got to do things in the morning. Plus, we're gonna save some stuff for some extra sauce on Wednesday. And who knows, between now and then, something could happen with this trade deadline stuff. We might have to jump on here and do a podcast so we can save some of that for all that kind of stuff. Trust me when I tell you, I got like 30 more things to talk about. But we're not going to do that. Let's talk about Zach Pickens. And we've said a lot about Zach Pickens this offseason. I do think I think he sees the gun line, boss. I think he sees the gun line. And he's right there on the edge of it. And look, Zach Pickens has a lot to prove. Like Zach Pickens' talent, is through the roof. Period. Just physically, he's got talent that's through the roof. Nobody can deny that. How he applies it on a consistent basis is his problem thus far. Does Zach Pickens have that dog in him? Does Zach Pickens have enough dog in him to compete with the dogs that we just surrounded him with? You got Grady J, you got Dio now. Now you got Shamar Turner. Like, you're going to have to compete now, dog. Like, every rep has got to be like, this is life or death for me. Even in practice, everything has to be so urgent for him right now. And it's got to stay like that in order for Zach Pickens to make it. Zach Pickens does have the talent to overcome any obstacle in front of him. I don't want anybody to misunderstand me when I say that. I think he's talented enough to whoop all their asses and make sure that he remains on this team. But can he do that? And does he have enough dog? Can he dig that out of him on a regular basis throughout this camp and force him to keep him on his team and keep him in this rotation? We're going to see. But I think he's got it in him. I have no doubt about it. No doubt. We're going to see, though.
Well, I got some doubt, man, because he's in this. Him and Tyler Scott are in the same boat. And they're canoeing to God knows where. I don't know where they're canoeing. Count on the Canadian to come up with a canoe reference. Sorry. I'm just saying, man, they have a lot of humanity in front of them with respect to their ability to stay on this team. Right? We just finished talking about the DT rotation, and it's kind of deep. And we're also going to consider that Dio. Thank you. Odengbo. He can transition inside as well. Shamar Turner can transition inside and outside. That four that we had, Jonathan. What's the gentleman from Green Bay? What's your homeboy from Green Bay?
Damn, now you got me off guard, man.
Well, I'm blanking out. I know his name is Jonathan something, but he's going to be on this team. He played really well. You know what I mean? He played really well as a run stuffer. He filled that Andrew Billings role better than Zach Pickens did when given the opportunity to do so. They had to go get a DT from Green Bay to do the job that unfortunately Zach couldn't do. I don't know, guys.
He's not going to be a nose tackle, though, kids.
I agree with you. He's a 3, but we got a couple of 3s.
That wasn't necessarily Zach's fault. That's Flus's fault for.
That's okay.
What he did was he got rid of a bunch of dudes that could have helped that situation a whole lot more. And I think Byron Cowart came in here and played some ball, but Byron Cowart's not a nose tackle. He overproduced. Chris Williams, not a nose tackle. He overproduced. And it was time that they got both of them got booed off the ball.
So what you're saying is
they let go of the meat and they went more athletic. And that was the depth behind Andrew Billings. And so if you got an Andrew Billings of that size, that obviously means that you want somebody of that size and caliber to play along your defensive front. If you don't have somebody qualified to back that up in case that guy goes down, guess what's going to happen? You see everything that we saw.
Yeah,
I'm just going to before the season, kids. Remember?
I do. I'm going to say the most obvious thing that's probably ever going to be said. I'm only going to say it the one time, and I'm never going to say it again.
Fat people rock.
No, but yes, we do. I'm throwing myself in there. You know what I mean? See what I did there? I threw myself right in with everybody else. what I'm going to say here is that selecting two DTs back to back that are both potentially three techs might not have been the most brilliant drafting idea.
And
Just
you
saying.
know what? And like, all right, look at it this way, kids. Here's a little something that might have went under the radar with you. But if you remember, Javon came in a certain size. Javon came in at about 320, somewhere around that. Probably played a little heavier when he was at Florida. First thing they wanted to do was trim that off and get him down to a certain weight because they wanted to run him at 3 tech. Okay, that's good. Great. That would be great for him. He can run a one gap, get up the field, get penetration. That's going to be really good for him. I saw the traits in him. Now, all of a sudden, you go into year 2 and Javon drops even more weight. Javon was probably playing at somewhere around 300, 305, somewhere in that neighborhood. He got light. He got pretty light.
290 now. Like the way that he looks, maybe not. Muscle weighs more, but
he's a big boy. He's probably more. He weighed more than 290. He's probably about 300, 305 now. But I know what you're saying, kids.
Yeah,
so what that meant is in that second year, they trained him to play exclusive 3 tech. They didn't train him to be moving inside and playing on nose guard because you would naturally think, okay, Billings went down, you can just slide Javon over. No, man, he's only 300, 305 right now. He's playing light. He's going to get moved around. And you put a double team on him, he's definitely going to get moved around. So they were ill prepared for the season before the season started if Billings went down. Just because the way they trained up, they were trying to pack weight on Zach Pickens. They were trying to turn Zach Pickens into a nose tackle and try to pack on another 15 pounds on him, and he just didn't play well. He was out of his element. They misused the talent that we had. They really did. It was Jonathan Ford. Thank you for that gesture.
Yeah, I had to give Chi-Town some props there.
I should remember that should be a tattoo on me as much as I was screaming about that.
Well, man, you brought him out there, and I was like, oh, I hate when we you know me, I ain't got no love for Green Bay. You know what I'm saying? No love for Green Bay retreads on the Chicago Bears in any capacity, whether it's coach, player, period. Just don't like it. But let me just give you your flowers. He came out there and he really filled that Andrew Billings role when nobody else could. Not Chris Williams, not Byron Cowart, not Zach Pickens. John Ford came out there and did it. One more time, a lot of humanity in front of Zach Pickens, man. And that includes Jonathan Ford. So I'll say it. I said I was only going to say it once. I'll say it twice. I'm not sure if selecting the two DTs in the second and the third was the smartest move.
I loved it because you can never have too many of those guys, man. You always
now we got too many of them, and we literally got to get rid of one.
No, we don't.
But we do, though.
No, we don't.
Yeah, we do. You only have a 53-man roster, and only so many people are going to make this roster. Meaning, I think you might have to give up on a third-round pick.
Well, look, I think you can never have too many of those guys. I know you can't.
I know what you're saying. I'm just saying that there's actually a finite number. Like it's 53. You know what I mean? There's only 53 players you can have on the roster. So if there's 7 DTs, somebody got to go.
You play 4 at a time. So what you do, Luce actually coined this phrase, and I'll repeat this. This is probably most coaches' mindset when they think of putting together the 43. You have a pair and a spare. And so if you got 4 guys along the defensive front, so you want the pair is going to be 8. And the spare is going to be 9.
You're saying that as if we aren't overloaded at the wide receiver position, as well as potentially at the edge rusher position and the linebacker position. They're going to want to keep, you know what I'm saying? And the offensive line is even more overloaded, right? So they're going to want to keep some additional humanity. Yes. The question is, who is that going to be and where? At this point, I have no clue. But the two things that I can say, like the three things that I can say is
let me break it down for you.
Tyler Scott and Noah Sewell should be on prove it. It should be in prove it mode.
Well, let me keep it right here with the front four, because we're talking about we got too many DTs, and so you're gonna have a starting left end, a starting right end. You're gonna have a backup for both of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's two guys on at left D end, two guys at right D end. That's four right there. Gonna have a nose tackle or two defensive tackles. Let's just say that two defensive tackles. So there's another four. That's 8 right there. You got to have a backup for each one of those guys. And if they're smart, they'll keep a spare that can kind of be versatile, can play inside and play outside. That's the idea. You got a guy that can kick in on the inside. You got a guy that can kick to the outside. So there's your 8 or 9 right there. There's your 8 or 9 right off the top.
So on the line right now, we've got we have 15 human beings.
And probably half of them ain't gonna be here. About at least
That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say.
That man ain't gonna be here.
That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say.
It's gonna happen. You know,
that's all I'm saying. Somebody's got to go. I don't know who it's gonna be, and I might as well list them. So Montez Sweat, Austin Booker, Dominique Robinson, Xavier Carlton on left edge, left DT. Javon Dexter, Andrew Billings, Chris Williams, Jonathan Ford.
Chris Williams ain't an interior. He's more 3 tech.
Well, he's listed here as left defensive tackle. Right defensive tackle, we've got Grady Jarrett, Shamar Turner, Zach Pickens. So there's 7 just in the DT role, period, whether interior or exterior. Whether nose or 3 is really what I'm trying to say. Right defensive edge rusher, we're looking at Deo Odangbo, Daniel Hardy, Jamri Chroma, and Jareem Robinson.
Probably won't be here.
So way too early cuts. Potentially Xavier Carlton, there's 1. Potentially Jareem Robinson, there's 2. Potentially Jamri Chroma, there's 3.
Dominique Robinson.
Potentially Dominique Robinson, there's 4. You know what I mean? I was trying not to do that one.
Yeah,
but I'll be real about it. So yeah, potentially Dominique Robinson, that's 4. We still have 11 guys. If you're saying they probably hold on to 9, that's the right number here. So we're saying there's 2 more guys who's likely going to be cut. I'm gonna have to guess Zach Pickens is one of those guys. And the next question now is it Jonathan Ford, Chris Williams, Daniel Hardy, or Andrew Billings? Those are the remaining people who could potentially be cut.
Jonathan Ford is the most likely.
I don't think he is.
I think he is. One thing you notice about and coaches will change those concepts year in, year out. You look at Dennis Allen's defense. Try to find me a nose guard on his defense. I dare you. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So we can go on and on talking about this, kids, but I don't want to go on too long. We already been here 2.5 hours.
Fair enough. That's a tough one.
We'll save that for some extra sauce. No, take that for me, man. Keep that a mental note.
All right.
Because maybe I'll pull up some all 22 and show you what I'm talking
about. All right, do that. And while you're at it, we will need to reference the big Samoan who is in Kansas City now that we just cut a couple years ago for no. Kyrie's Tonga. And that just speaks to exactly what you're talking about. New regime came in, they didn't need we don't need a nose. We'll just get rid of them.
He said, what? He said, I got to tell you, using the colors green and yellow in your thumbnail as a Bears fan is a crime. Man, did the shit look good, Shorty? That's all I want to know. This shit was tight.
See, I must have missed the thumbnail, Shorty.
It's just a blackout.
You heard me about 10 minutes ago just saying how much I hate all GB things.
Well, Nomad at night, the colors for Nomad at night is green, Shorty. And so
Fair.
we're just using variations to it, man. It was just the way it came out this time.
I'm with you, Shorty. James Jack Trooper.
Dope ass thumbnail, though. Dope ass thumbnail.
James Jack Trooper.
You get tired of all that the same shit, man. Everything looks uniform out there. I don't like it.
I love super old references that nobody gets. If anybody got that reference, shout out to you.
Shame
Jack Trooper.
I definitely don't know what you're talking about. School me, Holmes.
James Jack Trooper.
All right. How about this, man? Let's shout out to Mark Wallace, who just busted up in here, him and Shorty. But hey, let's give some pleasantries out before we get out of here. We're gonna save something to some extra sauce. Man.
Oh wow, it's Sunday night, man, and we're out of here before midnight on the East Coast.
Yeah, man, we needed to.
We're doing great things. I'm
almost gonna do a show tonight, man. There was other shit going on, but we got to always keep it real for the fans. They expect us.
Well, we came through. We did the darn thing. There is a possibility that you may not see me for extra sauce this week, so we'll keep it locked either way on Wednesday. Come check us out. I will do what I can to join up in some capacity, but I'm en route to other places, jet set, doing things. So we'll see if I'm able to join. We'll try and figure something out. But if I do, it'll be from a hotel room.
We're gonna have to y'all got to smash on Kid's ass. He trying to get out of responsibility, man. I want to do other things too. But hey, here we are, man. We got to show and prove for him.
Well, I'll do, like I say, I'll do what I can for the people as per normal. But I will be out of town. My setup will definitely be different. So there is that. We'll see what I can do. That being said, man, thanks for kicking it with us. Thanks for hanging out. Shorty, thanks for jumping in there towards the end. Mark Wallace, same with you. Big shout outs to you. Give a little bit of love to those who love us as per normal. Thanks to all of you guys for coming through. By all means, jump over to Keds the Canuck on YouTube. Give this guy a little bit of love. Give him a big thumbs up. By all means, leave a like, share, subscribe, and or comment. I appreciate all the above. I will get back to you for sure. That being said, let's give some shout outs and get the heck out of here so I can go to work in the morning on time. Hey, there's that cute little Keds. He's a cute guy. He's a cute guy.
Y'all make sure y'all go give baby Keds a shout out on the Keds the Canuck channel, man. Because he needs some milk, he needs some Similac and all that good stuff so he can keep getting big. That's what we need to do, man. Go feed him some subscriptions. Go make sure you show some love on Keds the Canucks channel, man. Baby Keds need you.
Big baby Jesus. I can't wait. So shout outs to Rocket Dream Burns. What it do, Rocket Dream? Branson Halan, thanks for coming through, my friend. Illinois Jones. Illy Jones is with us all night long doing the darn thing in the chat. Shout out to him. Shout out to the Chi-Town Jester. Thanks for jumping in. Thanks for keeping it real with us in the chat. Andre Bryant was all over the chat as well, representing. Shout out to you, Smitty Q. Thanks for coming through, my bro. King Booker World with the wrench. He's a super no maniac. You should also be a super no maniac too. Dobbsy 34 is out there doing the darn thing. Ollie Chapman, shout out to you as well, keeping it real in the chat. Lots of good comments from you, sir. Dion Harris came through, spent a little bit of time with us. So did Paul Rodriguez. Paul jumped out a little while ago. Hope you had yourself a good night, sir. Darius Morgan, my guy, shout out to you, my brother. Thanks for coming through, spending your time with us. Sophisticated Thoughts jumped in, had his 2 cents, and kept it real in the chat as well. Oh, the Crooked Commission was with us. Stay tuned for the Superflex coming soon. Definitely will be collaborating with the Crooked Commission some capacity over the course of the next few months because we're getting closer to fantasy season, y'all.
Him and Foul Mouth C, we got to reach out to both of them.
Say who?
Him and Foul Mouth C, we got to reach out to both of them.
Absolutely. Foul Mouth C too, man. Both y'all, we'll have to get you guys up and on maybe these 2 shows and or Superflex, but you're Crooked. You'll be on my show. There's no 2 ways about it. Immortal Nodge is out there giving us mad love. So is Aunt Ma. So is Jay Grizz. JJ Smiley was with us too. BT9 was with us. That's right. Bear Truth 9. He's keeping it real in the chat. Oh, I missed the OG Minister Charles Johnson. He's a super no maniac as well. I think that Jojo Loco jumped in right at the end. Giving a big shout out to you, Jojo Loco, and giving a big shout out to the Edmonton Oilers, even though I'm not from Edmonton and generally don't care about hockey. But big ups to the Edmonton Oilers, pulling for y'all on some Wayne Gretzky love business. So let's see if they can do it. For the rest of y'all who are likely not hockey fans, I don't really care either. Just saying.
All right, man. Hey, good show, man. You know, I wish KB had made it, but I know he's got a good reason why he did not make it. And I'll talk to him. Hopefully we get him on. We're gonna get KB as involved as we possibly can. And I'm gonna make it my business to do that. And so shout out to KB. I know he's somewhere going to either see the show or is watching it now and cannot participate for whatever reason. I'm never getting mad at nobody who can't do a show, especially when you got a kind of job that he has. So, and he's got a small family, you know what I mean? So got a little small tribe going on. So it ain't always that easy, you know what I mean? So appreciate everybody for being here. But first, before we get out of here, I got to make sure everybody knows what's coming up on Wednesday, and that is so stay tuned for some extra sauce on Wednesday. I don't know the plan for that show because it's this part of the off season where there's I'll take that back because that day will be the second day of this last mini camp. So we'll have plenty to talk about then. There'll be a lot of stuff to talk about by then. And so after that, you know, throughout the rest of the time between the time when the guys get back for actual physical training camp, you know, we're gonna adjust some things, and you know, we'll keep Sunday and Wednesday there. I might do more, you know, individual stuff so that we keep pumping out more content. I might have to do some shows by myself or maybe with a guest, but we'll see. We'll keep the content pumping out there, man, so you guys got fresh new stuff to watch, because I know, I keep saying this all the time, I know what it's like to be on the outside looking in of the content creation community, and I know how valuable this stuff is with the hungry ass Bears fans that we have. I was that dude, constantly flipping, going through thumbnails, seeing what I want to watch, and if it wasn't anything worth anything, you're just bummed because there's no good content out there. Here's what we do over here at the Nomad Network. Detail. The key to what we do is detail. Get in the script about what the finer points about what the Bears have coming, moving forward, and what we're going to be doing. Those little details about little situational football that we were talking about tonight, little things like that people don't take the time to do. And instead, they want to talk about the main thorough topics that everybody else is talking about. Everybody's talking about the same damn thing when you come to this channel. And why we earn our subscriptions, why we earn memberships, is you get detail, straight out detail about football. You know, that's why me, myself, kids, and Triple R, and everybody else that plays a role on this channel, Samo, whenever he's here, this is what makes it interesting. You have guys that can give you every layer of, from the fandom to actual, you know, black and white football, X's and O's. You're going to get every level of it, and all of it is worth conversation. That's what we do over here. And I will remind you guys one more time, and it seems like I'm a broken record talking about this, but the website is coming. The website is coming. And I'm telling you guys right now, some of the custom designs that I've made, and I haven't checked in on the website and what Kez is doing with it, because I'm just trying to leave that guy alone and let him operate and let me do what I do on the other side of it. And that is the creation part of it, and trying to get these, you know, it's so much that I have to do as far as the designs, getting new stuff for merch. It's stuff that Kez is doing on the side, trying to create his own custom designs for his merch. He wants to do that for himself. Cool, great. But the other stuff that we're going to be doing on the website, hopefully we'll get Samo to play a role and have some kind of role to play and have some gear for him. Trip's going to have stuff. Everybody's going to play a part, and everybody's going to benefit. That's what the beautiful thing is about this website. So I would encourage you all, if you haven't got a membership, one of the things I'm telling you guys right now, I'm gonna give you a little breaking news right now. I'm going to lower the price of membership so that everybody can, if it's $1.99, that's going to just $2 a month. That's going to help you get a discount for merchandise. So I'm just telling you guys right now, I'm going to lower the price probably right before the website comes out. If you want to get a $4.99 membership for a month to help us out, because we do have to pay bills over here, you guys. Bills have to be paid. Matter of fact, there's a $300 bill coming at any given time right now. I don't got the money. Could have used some super chats and could have used some donations, but that's what I use them for. I make sure that money gets paid forward to. If you like all those shorts and all that kind of stuff, that stuff costs money. And so I'm just encouraging you all that the memberships are not there just to fill up somebody's pocket. No, it's there to pay bills. And I would like to go moving forward and not have to worry about corporate sponsorship. I would really love to keep this channel moving forward, keep growing it, and not have corporate sponsorship. But I know it's almost impossible. It's almost impossible because, people don't readily just give you their money. They'd rather not give it to you. And that's just the way the world is. But that's why people go to corporate sponsorship and you have commercials and you have ad readings and all that. I would hate for this channel to do that. But, we might have to do that to make sure the bills get paid. So just a fair warning. Again, might move the membership down to about $1.99, $2.99, whatever it is, and so that it's not a problem for anybody. $1 or $2 a month for a membership, it's not a problem. You will get the discounts, and once you see the custom designs, you will be glad you got that membership. There'll be discounts for you. With that being said, I want to thank you guys one more time before we get up out of here, because I do appreciate seeing you guys each and every week, and every single time we do a show, you guys show up. And I just want to see this thing get bigger and better. And I think it will coming into the season as we start gaining some success and start, pushing that upward trajectory. This thing is just going to get bigger and bigger and better and better. Just got to believe in it, you guys. And I appreciate you guys one more time. But I got to leave you with these famous words. If you can think it and you can see it, there's no reason in the world why you cannot absolutely manifest it. Do not, and I repeat, do not be a prisoner of your own mind. But with that being said, we are out.